One nation under the gun. Under the wall. Yeah. One nation under the gun.
Wake up. It's the first of the month.
Yeah.
Hope in my pocket, smoking my lungs. Free all the leaders. Run to the preacher. Tell him the victory's already won. Call the collector. Scramble my funds. One nation under the gun.
Under the wall.
Scratching and surviving. Stretching and remixing. They thought all this gang was free. I made them pay attention. I can't seem to get away, get away, get away. Land of the free.
Moving low key and dodging the fit. Scars on my heart, but the gold's in my head from the Bay to LA. I'm carrying the weight. They love you, they hate you. That's how they gon' play. 1600 where the powers of flex. Writing my story, no edits, no stress. Been on the block, all I know is the snakes. They plotting on my moves and they raising the stakes. Hopes in my vein, but the system's amazed. Every step that I take and it feels like a haze. Stretching my blessing, trying to dub, but my win. Lost some homies in the game, now I'm praying for them. They taxing my soul, but I'ma keep it real. Sign my name on the dotted line, blood on the deal. From the block to the White House, dodging all these traps. Got my city on my back, put my pain in the rap. Now I'm back on the grind and I'm running up the score. They thought I fall off, now I'm kicking down the door. Got the money in the pocket and the smoke in the air. Every move that I make them stop instead. 1600 where the power resides. Speaking my truth, let it light up the sky. Free my dog, let the preacher say grace. Every scar on my soul is a story to trace.
Wake up, it's the first of the month. Hope in my pocket, smoking my lungs. Free all the leaders, run to the preacher. Tell him the victory's already won. Call the collector, scramble my funds. One nation under the gun.
Under the wall.
Scratching and surviving, stretching and remixing. They thought all this gang was free. I made them pay attention. I can't seem to get away, get away, get away. Land of the free.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy
Move to the dark where
Friday.
the power's concealed. Every promise they make is part of the deal. Got hope on the chest and the weight on my back. In the land of the free and the chains.
Good
of my
morning,
back.
ladies and
Watching my
gentlemen.
steps, trying to
Yes.
box my glow. I'm dodging these snakes, keep my eyes on the goal. 1600 where the truth gets blurred. I'm speaking my pain, every bar, every word. From the town to the Ave, I'm repping my roots. Turn my
Yes.
losses into lesson. Now I'm flipping that truth. Preacher said it's done, but the war's still alive. I'm the king of my fate. Watch you thrive and survive. I'm walking through the fire where the vipers hide. Tearing up the stage where the truth don't hide. Hope in the grip and the system device, making all these moves. Yeah, rolling like a dice. Now I'm stretching my vision, trying to break through the lies. See the pain in the city, hear the streets when they cry. Taxing my dream, trying to dim my light, but my heart's on the mission, let it burn all night. From the block to the Ave, I'm the voice of the lost. Pay the price for my freedom, never counting the cost. Preacher said that we won, but the battle's my own. In the land of the snakes, I'm building my throne.
Wake up, it's the first of the month. Hope in my pocket, smoking my lungs. Free all the leaders, run to the preacher. Tell him the victory's already won. Call the collector, scramble my funds. One nation under the gun.
Under the wall.
Scratching and surviving, stretching and remixing. They thought all this gang was free. I made them pay attention. I can't seem to get away, get away, get away. Land of the free.
Crossing review.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday. We're about to get this show started. Please tap the screen, share the live, and do all you can to support the vibe. Welcome to the show.
It's deja vu when I'm running up these racks. I'm like the Terminator screaming.
Shout out to the comment section. Yes.
Deja vu when I'm out here flying first
Yes,
class.
it's like every week I gotta take out the trash. I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class. You know I am.
You can tell that I made it.
Look at my grass.
Cars in the garage with tanks full of gas.
I play the game so raw, I won't finish last.
Sitting in my living room screaming how we made it. This is
Happy Friday.
when you get your face.
Friday the 13th.
The algorithm turned me to a maniac.
Yeah, I guess we going viral cause my zodiac. I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet. Say it with me, ladies and gentlemen.
Franklin
It's my bestie. Hey.
And if they is my ex, that mean they left me. They don't get me pockets if they text me.
Uh-oh.
I say it with my chest cause I mean it.
Uh-oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Our favorite part. Here goes. Here goes right here.
I'ma take off in a spaceship.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's
There's a
lab
lie.
in a couple days.
Drug test. Wow.
That shit was
Keep it
radical.
clean, please.
It was horrible. I'm like,
did.
Zeus has gone way off the road.
Oh.
It's like deja vu.
Uh-oh.
It's like deja vu.
They always say the wrong thing. They say to hurt my feelings, but sorry.
It's like deja vu.
It is. All right. Welcome. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are back in the Thunderdome. Welcome back. I'm your host. I'm your pilot, and you know exactly why we're here. We're gathered to do the real work that it takes to save this country of ours, you know, from the evil clutches of Donald J. Trump and his legion of, you know, we all call them MAGA demons who are hell-bent on destroying this great country. It used to be great, but it's not so great. And by the way, don't believe any of the numbers coming out of the Trump administration, all right? And so with that being said, let me take care of some very important housekeeping items. For those of you tuning in, this might be your first time coming to a platform like this. There's a number of things you can do to support what we're doing over here, especially when I get some of the panelists, and I have some of the amazing panelists join these shows, ladies and gentlemen, right? What I want you to do is share the live out with all who are willing to receive the truth about what's happening here in the United States of America. Because we don't believe anything, and I do repeat this, we do not believe anything coming out of the Trump administration, and we don't believe anything coming from the cult members. Now, there have been some cult members who've defected, and we'll listen to them, but if they're still in the cult, we only listen to them in order to hold them accountable and, you know, judge them, because this is a kingdom, right? And we judge a lot of Trump voters in here. And so that's something to keep in mind. But like I said, where are my manners? I go by the name Zeus, or some like to say Triple H. And does anyone know why they refer to me as Triple H? I'm listening. I don't hear anybody. I don't hear anybody. Maybe. Okay, so you don't know. The first H is because I am honest. I am the most honest person on social media, hands down. Thank you, JD Cakes, right? And that's the first H. The second H is because humble. I'm the most humble person on social media. I really am. And if I get things wrong, I'll be the first to apologize, because, you know, it's hard to get it right all the time. We're all human beings, right? So I always leave room for myself to, at least if I'm wrong, take accountability, right? So that's the second H, humble, humility. And then there's the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, which is arguably one of the most important H's of them all. It is truly because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. Thank you, Tara. And I send the demons straight to hell on this show, yes. And so speaking of that, what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Brother Val. Nice to see ya. And you all been rocking with Big Zeus because, you know, we've been doing this for years. I'm very experienced at what I do. And I actually know how to deal with these demons. Some of them are a little more complicated to deal with than others, but I always know how to deal with every single MAGA demon, especially on this app, TikTok. When you're dealing with MAGA, you're going to deal with people who are just disgusting, sick, and vile. Those are the ones that are still in the cult. The ones that are starting to wake up because they've been listening to this show, and people like me, they've gone radio silent. They're like, wow, I can't believe Big Zeus and all of his friends have been right the whole time. And they're really licking their wounds right now. But you still have some demons out here who are spewing lies, spewing nonsense, crying. You know what they cry about? They cry about Joe Biden all the time. They cry about Barack Obama all the time. On this show, ladies and gentlemen, I'll just be honest with you, because I went into a live yesterday, a MAGA layer, so to speak. I'm just going to say this to MAGA. The moment you bring up Joe Biden or Barack Obama, you know, deportation numbers, the economy, the argument's over. I'm done talking to you, because I don't want to talk about people who have already served their presidency. You know, Obama did 2 terms, no scandal, no drama Obama. You want to call him the deporter in chief? I call him no drama Obama. All right. So you can't go back and try to relitigate his presidency. It is what it is. It's sealed. Same with Joe Biden. No impeachments, nothing. He did his 4 years. Boom, he's out. I only want to talk about Donald Trump. So if we do get a Trump voter up here, they're too afraid to come up here. I'm not going to even entertain. If you bring up Joe Biden, all right, because I got the song. I can play it. What about Biden? But if you bring up Joe Biden or Obama, I'm just going to drop you. How does that feel, right? And so with that being said, because people get on me, you got to know, like, I don't want to know all the way back to what George Washington did right now in 2026. I don't care. I mean, it is what it is. I don't want to hear about what John F. Kennedy did, Lyndon B. Johnson. I don't hear Reagan, Bill Clinton. I don't want to hear about them. I want to talk about the sitting president of the United States of America, and that's it. And so with that being said, if you are a Trump supporter, you might want to leave this show this morning, because I'm going to make it very uncomfortable for you. I promise you it will. But get this, you don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country,
Yeah.
if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay, too.
That's my favorite part.
But if you're not happy, you can leave.
That's my favorite part. Good morning, Zena. Nice to see you. And actually, all of my mutuals. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have a MAGA demon this morning that needs to be sent to hell. And some of you know who he is. Snuggles, are you in the comment section, Snuggles? Because I'm going to give him a chance. Snuggles, are you in the comment section? Because you put out a video yesterday, and I never bring you on my show and give you that much airtime. But this video in particular, I decided I'm going to do it because it shows that you know that Attorney General, so-called Attorney General Pam Bondi, she tore her draws with the American people, and you know she works for Donald Trump. And somehow you managed to bring Kamala Harris into this. You managed to bring Kamala Harris. Someone summon that demon Snuggles. Someone please summon Snuggy if you can. One of his friends, because none of us are friends with him. And I just end up, if it wasn't because I started this app early on and I was a nicer person, I wouldn't know Snuggy. All right. And I got that name from the G-Man. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and send Snuggy. Snuggy wears Huggies. That's funny. Like his dear leader. This is funny stuff. And if you really sat down and think about it, this is somebody who's just begging Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, begging Donald Trump to at least just look at him and just make him feel like a man. And all right. And so what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to listen to Snuggy cry his eyes out on social media. And I could get into trouble for this, but Nick, you know what? I don't care. I'll get into trouble for this because somebody has to do this, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody has to do this.
Hey guys, how you doing? Listen, really quick, I just want to ask one question to Democrats. If Kamala Harris was president, would the list have been released?
Now, you hear that? I can't even take it. Video's over, bro. Just stop. All right. The video, honestly, it was over when you see how tight that seatbelt is? Do you all see how tight the seatbelt is? Who wears a seatbelt that tight and gets into their car crying about Kamala Harris? This is demented. Just admit you're wrong, bro. Just admit. But see, I got to send them straight to hell. Look at how tight that seatbelt is, bro. No one loves you enough to tell you to stop.
Don't complain now, because that list wouldn't have been released during the Kamala Harris administration. So I suggest keep your mouth shut, let us do the work, and fire Pam Bondi and get somebody else that will release the elite names.
Funny you want to fire Pam Bondi, Snuggy. Who hired Pam Bondi, Snuggy? And what does Kamala Harris have to do with this at all? I know you're crying inside. I know you're broken right now because you're not the winner you've been bragging that you are all on TikTok for the last 5 years. I'm a winner. I'm the winner. Snuggles isn't winning. Snuggles, you're losing. And you're losing because you are in a cult and your dear leader played you like a fiddle. Listen to him crying.
Okay? Just keep your mouth shut, Democrats. You fucked up already. And you act like you're perfect people.
You dropping strong language on TikTok? I thought you cared about the kids. Doesn't look like it to me.
Take accountability to your actions. I'm not letting the list out. Don't ever tell a mega person that was our fault.
Oh, guess what, Snuggy? I'm going to break that rule. It is your fault. And I'll keep telling you and every single one of you MAGA demons that it is your fault. Because you voted for a convicted felon, an adjudicated rapist. Remember, you had a mandate. This is what you voted for. Remember, he ran on releasing the files. So yeah, I'm going to say it for you, you low-life loser. This is 110% your fault.
You guys had it for 4 years. You should have fucking released it. That's all I got to say. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein was put in jail before Donald Trump left office, 2019.
Yeah, because obviously he was a loose end that Trump needed to tie up because Trump didn't want him to keep running his mouth about everything Trump had been doing. You can't connect the dots, but I'm connecting them for you. So you don't get any points for this. None.
It was your jobs to get it all set up and look at everything and get things released.
Why should Joe Biden and the Democrats really, why would Joe Biden invest any of his time into figuring out what Donald Trump did with Epstein, especially when you all struggled to accept the fact that Donald Trump was guilty for the crimes Joe Biden did bring up against him? Remember January 6th? You didn't accept those as evidence that Donald Trump was a criminal, right? What about the classified documents? You didn't accept that. So we know you wouldn't have accepted if Joe Biden would have showed you some information about your dear leader being friends with Jeffrey Epstein. So you know what, Snuggie and all of you Trump voters? It's actually a little bit on the bittersweet side that it's all coming out while your dear leader is in the White House.
And you failed. So don't sit there and lecture MAGA.
I'm gonna lecture you.
You need to look from within. And you know what?
Give me a break.
Like I said, if Kamala Harris was president,
Here we go.
want people to write in the comment section. If Kamala Harris was president, you guys wouldn't be talking about Epstein list. Have a nice day.
Okay, I'm gonna have a nice day. And I'm gonna have a nice day doing what I'm about to do, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, MAGA doesn't get it. As far as I'm concerned, Snuggle, it was just another episode of a classic. You remember this? Remember this, Snuggles? It's another episode of the classic, Days of Our Lives.
Like sands through the hourglass.
Yeah, Snuggles, I got you.
So are the days of our lives.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you know what happens on this show, and that's Days of Our Lives. You all remember the show. It's another, I don't got time to play around with you, Snuggles. Ladies and gentlemen, what happens on this show when you lie? Does anyone know what happens on this show when you lie? I'm going to tell you. When you lie, you fry. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire for Snuggie. Snuggie who wears Huggies, crying on social media about his dear leader. His dear leader in the Epstein files. And I'm going to keep lecturing you. And you can bring up Kamala Harris and Joe Biden all you want. It's not going to stop anything. You're the worst of the worst and the scum of the earth. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending this demon straight to hell. Thank you all. Put the fires in the comment section. I love it when you put the fires. Thank you. Thank you.
Silence, you MAGA daily.
W Zeus. See, remember I told you all, I said, we're at the point on TikTok and social media, ladies and gentlemen, where we're not able to get honest conversations with Trump supporters, right? Because they see what's happening and the world sees it. They don't have the support from the independents like they did anymore. And Donald Trump is polling negatively on everything from immigration to the economy to foreign policy. So what we have to do now is we have to go MAGA fishing. And you got to catch these demons in real time, like Snuggie was in his car, buckled up. You could almost see the seatbelt. He was a couple steps away from ending it. I'm glad he didn't do it. No, Snuggles, don't try to leave right now. You made your bed and you got to lay in it. All right. Seriously. That's a huge W, Zeus. Moving on to our next topic. All right. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to have to address this going on right now in the world of social media. All right. And this is Candace Clues. I don't know if a lot of you have been following Candace Owens. Clearly, she has made it her mission to go after Erica Kirk. And I don't know what to make of it, honestly, but I do think it is somewhat relevant and necessary to keep talking about. And the reason I say this is because I've often asked Trump voters, do you really feel safer under Donald Trump, right? And one thing I've always maintained is, yeah, she's always finding new clues that somehow implicates Erica into something fishy about her husband, Charlie Kirk, passing. There's just a couple of issues that I have with Erica Kirk besides the grifting stuff. I don't know who her parents are, and I don't even think I've seen the kids. So it's one of these things where you're going, and why was she just so in a rush to become the CEO of Turning? It doesn't make sense to me. I've never followed Charlie Kirk. So again, But I'm watching Candace Owens spill the beans. But I keep bringing this up because I have folks who were upset when CK was unalived, and they blame the Democrats. They blame the radical left in our rhetoric, right? And then we find out it had nothing to do with us on the left, but it had everything to do with folks on the right. And what we're not getting is clear information from, those we should get it from, Kash Patel, right? We're not getting that, but Candace Owens is doing a job trying to expose that maybe there's something going on with Erica Kirk. And so somebody made this video. I think it's hilarious, but it's also serious. And we're going to watch this and then get into something else Candace is talking about.
Candace's clues, Candace's clues. No one can fool her, not even the Jews. It's Candace's clues, Candace's clues.
Can you guys help me find Blue?
We see that.
You see him? Where?
Behind you.
Blue Skidoo? We can too.
I mean, it's great.
Charlie was so excited to do what he has been doing for nearly a decade, and so to help him sleep, I told him to sleep in a child's bed.
A clue!
You see a clue? Good job! But we still haven't found Blue. Let's keep searching.
Go ahead, Candace. You doing your thing.
Then in the morning, he came in to grab his ring that he had taken off because our marriage is on the rocks.
Happily married.
A clue!
Remember that, Ange?
You see a clue?
Yeah.
Good job! But we still haven't found Blue. Let's keep searching.
Go ahead, Candace. Expose them. Where the picture at?
A clue!
You see a clue? Good job! But we still haven't found Blue. Let's keep searching.
Keep on.
The night before, we had a priest come over and pray over our failing marriage because despite me being evil, Charlie had faith.
Definitely.
You see a clue?
Yes, I do.
Good job! We did it! We found Blue! Let's head to the thinking chair. Now, let's check our handy-dandy notebook and compile our clues to see what Blue was trying to tell us.
Okay.
1, they weren't sleeping in the same bed. 2, he took off his ring. 3, he took down their photo. And 4, a priest prayed over their failing marriage.
Oh.
So when we put all these clues together, what does it tell us?
The clues tell us that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie.
No, you're a idiot. Blue, get him!
And so, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. I mean, did we all learn something? Seriously, did you all learn something? Because this is where we're at right now. And anybody out there that says otherwise, I would love to hear what you think about Miss Candace Owens, because she's not a radical leftist, ladies and gentlemen. She is repeatedly taking it to MAGA about Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk. All right, so this is the latest clue, ladies and gentlemen, and let's just buckle up and listen to what Miss Candace Owens is having to say. And by the way, Candace Owens, thank you. If anyone knows Candace Owens, tell her, even though we're on the wrong side of the aisle, I must say I'm very impressed with what she's done in her investigative journalism. Keep up the great work, Candace Owens. We need you more than we've ever needed you. Seriously.
Began to notice this theme in the end, because what exactly happened the night before he died? Why was Erica being so weird about providing a sensible alibi for her whereabouts on September 8th? Why did nobody see her? When somebody else believes they did see her at Fort Huachuca. Speaking of September 8th, by the way, it's also an important date to flag. I think it's a little weird, but it's a fact that Erica chose that date in particular to break her years-long Twitter silence. Did you know this? Erica had not authored a tweet since 2023. Right? She had retweeted a couple of things. Who knows if somebody did it for her? But she herself had not authored a tweet. Suddenly, 48 hours before Charlie's death, on September 8th at 10:49 a.m. Arizona time, she decides to break that silence with this tweet, scripture. Ephesians 2:8, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of work, so that no one may boast. Okay? And suddenly she then was on a roll. She then tweeted again on September 9th, 9:44 a.m. local time. She tweeted, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that takes refuge in him." And then again, on the day that Charlie is assassinated at 9:45 a.m. Arizona time, which is an hour and a half.
Does anyone find it suspicious that you just magically reappeared on Twitter with Bible scriptures, and then a couple of days later, your significant other is no longer on Earth? Is that suspicious to anybody?
Hour and a half before he's killed, Erica tweets, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble."
See, to me, it seems like guilt, and then you're trying to cover up the guilt with Bible. That's what it looks like to me, according to what Candace is saying. So, again, and all I'm doing is listening to her to say something about the Democrats. And for some strange reason, Candace isn't saying anything about the Democrats. It blows my mind. Uh-oh, hold on. Jesus. Oh, here we go. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. Hold on. See, sometimes I think, the internet then got into the
present help
here we go.
In trouble. People ran like, wow, I can't believe this. This godly woman happened to have tweeted this right before her husband got assassinated. Like I said, you're a monster for noticing. If you're thinking that like, no, she just really did suddenly want to break her Twitter silence. And she's very, as we can see, she is committed to the Lord. Every sentence that comes out is about God. So how could you question it, right?
I'm a question.
Anyway, before we go off air for next week, I want to be thorough and again put out an APB for certain information. So a couple of things before we get into what we're looking for at more tips at CandaceOwens.com. The reason Jillian is speaking to me is because she's asking people to stop messaging her. She doesn't want all these people messaging her. She's like, I'm already in communication with you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that's
Candace. In the end.
That's Candace Owens breaking it down that Erica Kirk basically is returning to, she returned to X shortly before Charlie was unalive. And my point by bringing that up again is this. It has nothing to do with the Democrats, ladies and gentlemen. And it makes me once again get to the point where I say, MAGA, do you really feel safer? Do you really feel safer with Donald Trump as the president of the United States? Because what exactly has he done to help make you feel safer? You don't have your health insurance. And Charlie Kirk, you know what I say? He was alive under Joe Biden. He lived no issues under former President Joe Biden. But as soon as Donald Trump became the president, everything started crashing in MAGAville, crashing down to earth, crashing down way beyond earth, actually crashing down to hell. And so what we'll do is this, ladies and gentlemen, you know what happens? Any Trump voters want to actually apologize to us this morning? Any of you Trump voters, after listening to Candace Owens, do you want to apologize to the Democrats for accusing us of causing harm? DJ, hey DJ, remember you were accusing us? Is DJ in the chat? Because DJ sometimes is in here. Oh, Tiny Tank Top doesn't want to? Fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I do what I do. Join me once again. Thank you so much, Dolphin. I appreciate it. Join me once again in sending these deranged Trump voters who still, they don't understand that their goose is pretty much cooked and they're going straight to hell. Hell in a handbasket. Join me in sending them straight to hell. They mad at me.
Silence, you MAGA.
All right. So far, and all I'm doing so far, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm giving MAGA so far everything that I've played. Hasn't everything that I've played so far been MAGA, right? We've heard Snuggie. Snuggie is a Trump voter. So where's the lie at, right? I can't. Candace, guess what? She's somebody that supported Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. So you can't keep blaming the Democrats. And this is why I do shows like this, because I'm trying to make sure people understand, like, the Democrats, they're not perfect by far. All right. But there is something called right and wrong. And the party that's actually trying to do the right thing, that at least from the way that I can see for the most part, It's the Democrats, all right? And so what we're going to do is make sure all of the misinformation that MAGA continues to spew is properly addressed. And who better to address it than MAGA themselves? Speaking of that, how many of you know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is, all right? When it rains, it pours. An interesting exchange yesterday between Marjorie and this Tommy, right? I want you to just listen to how Marjorie is free to disclose just how much of a fraud the MAGA movement really is.
But why do you think that there's been a hesitation, not only by maybe this administration, but previous administrations, to just put it all out? Are there legitimate concerns about putting it all out? Do you see some of the reasoning behind maybe not dumping them all at once or in totality? Is there something there that you think gives a little bit of justification for that?
No, I don't give them any justification at all. I don't give anyone in the government a reason for keeping this covered up. We're looking at around 1,200 women who were victims. We're talking about rape of teenage girls, trafficking. That's what Ghislaine Maxwell was. Yeah. She was convicted for trafficking. Well, that's not a one-way crime, right? Who were they trafficked to? So there's many more people implicated. To me, the biggest thing is it should have never been a fight in the first place. This was a campaign promise. We all campaigned on it. People in the administration said it over and over again, release the Epstein files. President Trump talked about it back in 2015. I've supported him since early on.
So that's Marjorie Snuggie reminding you why it's coming out now. This was Trump's baby, so to speak. So stop asking about Joe Biden and why didn't he do X, Y, Z. This is 110% on MAGA. And Marjorie is calling this out. And so you can't blame the Democrats. It's music to my ears.
About it since 2015. Don Jr., everybody, Charlie Kirk, everybody was released Epstein files. Ironically, no Democrats were, but all of us were. And here it turned into a fight where the president yelled at me, was angry at me, told me that his friends would get hurt, and that's why he wanted me to take my name off that discharge petition. And I told him absolutely not. It's a moral line in the sand. And this is what ended up him calling me a traitor and saying that he would primary me. So no, this has been a major issue. He called it a Democrat hoax, which is not a hoax. Fought to release the files, had our Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, was fighting us to get this vote to the floor to the point where we had to work with Democrats. We shouldn't have never had to work with Democrats. This was
You hear that? So when y'all try to start taking victory laps, because right now MAGA, they're trying to take victory laps, saying more of the information has came out under the Trump administration. So this shows that Donald Trump is the most transparent president, and he's been doing what he said he's been doing. But it's not true. He wouldn't have done it if the Democrats didn't take hold of the issues, and we took it serious, because we didn't know it was this serious. But once we got locked in, we're going to get to the bottom of it. And Donald Trump has been reluctant, to be quite honest, about releasing the files. And when she says, he said, I don't want any of my friends to get hurt. In my opinion, he's saying, I don't want to get hurt.
Easiest thing for our Republican majority to do without the Democrats, because they didn't care about it. They clearly never cared about it until it became a political scoreboard for them. And now it was mishandled so poorly that here they are, they're taking victory laps that they don't even deserve. And I think it's been the biggest political miscalculation, but it has also shattered MAGA and caused us to lose the independent vote that oh my goodness, that's how we won the midterms.
You think the Epstein files are powerful enough, or I guess consequential enough, to sway independents in their vote?
There's a couple of key things, but I think that is a big one. Nothing's on its own in isolation, but the Epstein files are a big one. But the independents, we're losing them on cost of living, cost of housing, especially for young people, can't afford to buy houses, health insurance, it's a big one. Democrats created the whole disaster with Obamacare. Then they made it worse with the ACA tax credits.
Zip it, Marge.
And then Republicans have never come forth with a real plan to fix it. So we're just failing the American people on health insurance. Those are people care about what affects their lives. But then turning to foreign wars when we said no more foreign wars, no more regime change, and we've seen that to be a highlight of the Trump administration over the past year, and possibly on the verge of a war with Iran. Americans don't care. And independence, I mean, we clearly in polling it's showing that we have lost them big time. But I don't think people want to vote for Democrats either. I mean,
I'm gonna stop Marge right there, ladies and gentlemen. But I think you get the gist of what she is saying, right? I mean, obviously she's MAGA still, or ex-MAGA, and she's not made the full transition to becoming a truly truthful person. But one thing that I'll give her credit for is she did say MAGA has been shattered. So don't worry, she's gonna get judged, right? But let me ask a quick question. Is there any Trump supporters in the audience that disagree with what Marjorie Taylor Greene just said before I move on? Are there any Trump voters out there that disagree with what Marjorie Taylor Greene has just disclosed to all of us? Yeah, MAGA is done. Look at that. Look at that. This is how you silence these people, right? Because I've basically forced them to consume their own product. Rick. Thank you. Well, MAGA, since you can't speak up, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I know a lot of you, this hurt your feelings. This is painful for you to endure. But I told you I'm going to scare you this morning.
I want to vote for Democrats. It's insane.
I told you I was going to scare you this morning, and you didn't believe me, right? And so now it's time for you to face your judgment. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire once again. This is for every single one of you Trump voters out there who continue to lie in our faces and pretend like Donald Trump is doing a great job despite all the information that I've been sharing with you and giving you on my platform, and you don't even appreciate it, right? And this is why I say, when you work iniquity, hell will be your portion.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W Zeus, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the way that you can just totally destroy MAGA, ladies and gentlemen, is just literally giving them a taste of their own medicine. But you know what? I haven't done this in a while, and I said, you know what we need to do? We need to have one of my good friends that I watch. You know, I keep an eye on him, so to speak. But it was an epic takedown of Donald Trump by our good friend, ladies and gentlemen. You know who this person is, all right? You know who this man is right here, Lawrence O'Donnell. All right, we're gonna go ahead and listen to Lawrence O'Donnell do a real great. It's a great takedown of MAGA, because they need to understand that no matter how many conversations that I have with them, you're not gonna change our minds. You're not gonna ever win this thing called being on the right side of history, right, ladies and gentlemen? She fit. So let's listen to Lawrence O'Donnell real quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Totally obliterate and destroy MAGA. And this is from his show last night, The Last Word, all right? He just totally destroys them, all right?
Trump retreated again today. Donald Trump never announced his full retreat of National Guard troops from the streets of American cities. But as we reported last night, Donald Trump no longer has a single member of the National Guard patrolling a single street in America. That full and humiliating retreat came before Donald Trump sent his so-called border czar, Tom Homan, to Minneapolis to manage the Trump retreat from Minneapolis, which Tom Homan announced on his first full week in that city 3 weeks ago. And today, Tom Homan made the announcement that everyone in Minneapolis and most people in the country have been waiting for.
I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude.
Donald Trump is not the first president to launch an unwinnable war. Presidents have been doing that with disturbing regularity since Vietnam. Donald Trump is the first president to launch an unwinnable war in the United States against the people of the United States.
Wow.
People who then used the rights granted to them in the Constitution to rise up and protest against Donald Trump's war. And the protesters won. The protesters faced a unique challenge in getting through to Donald Trump and forcing him to retreat. They had to change the mind of a man who has no connection to reality, no comprehension of the Constitution, and no basic human decency. A man who is surrounded by the most incompetent, ignorant, and amoral cabinet and advisors in the history of the American presidency. A group that on any given day is capable of saying things that no one who ever emerged from the Senate confirmation process in our history could have possibly said before the weakest Republican Senate in history decided to confirm Donald Trump's cabinet. Today's winner of the daily competition for most perverse thing said by a Trump cabinet member said, and these are the exact words, quote, "I'm not scared of a germ, you know. I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats." Unfortunately, guessing who said that about germs and cocaine and toilet seats is easier than it should be.
I'm not scared of a germ. You know, I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats.
Yes.
Let's take a step. For TikTok, for educational purposes only. Please don't pollute my show with that. Does MAGA have any explanation? Because when I heard this, I said, this is definitely a 5-alarm fire. Anyone in the Biden administration would have said that, they would have been taken to task. They would have been taken out to the back to the woodshed. Y'all get worked up about the stuff found in the White House. Remember the stuff that they found in the White House and y'all were trying to blame Hunter Biden for it, remember? But you don't have any energy for this? You ain't nothing but a bunch of liars and a bunch of hypocrites. And it's so easy. But this is why I say it's an epic takedown, because Lawrence O'Donnell, honestly, he despises Donald Trump and the MAGA movement more than I do. And I totally, like 110% of me does. I think he's at 1,000% with this because he's known Trump for years.
That is Donald Trump's Secretary of Health and Human Services telling us why we shouldn't be afraid of communicable diseases, at least the ones he didn't get from toilet seats. It would be nice if we could regard something like that as funny. But he is the sociopath who deliberately steered people to their deaths with his opposition to vaccines, the single greatest advance in the history of medicine. Donald Trump has found more ways to kill more people during peacetime than any president in history. He appoints a madman to be the Secretary of Health.
And that goes to the point that I have been expressing and saying ever since Trump won his second term. Haven't I been saying, a lot of you Trump voters, y'all not going to be around come midterms because your dear leader, he is actively targeting you to make sure you're not here, right? And yesterday I did the Save America Act, right? A lot of you rural voters will not be able to vote if that were to pass, right? Because y'all don't have the resources to prove you're citizens. You're underfunded as it is. You don't have health care, all right? Over 1 million people have lost their health care so far. Maybe it's a lot more. You're losing your jobs. You're losing your small businesses. And with RFK in, you're not even getting accurate health information. How do you think you're going to make it come midterms? Again, do you really feel safer under Donald Trump?
And then with Elon Musk's guidance, Donald Trump takes food away from people in the middle of famine in Africa. He took HIV medicine away from people who needed to survive, medicine that was being delivered in Africa thanks to the initiative of Republican President George W. Bush. Donald Trump said, no, we don't want to save those lives. The food was already in transit to those starving people, and Donald Trump became the first president in history to deny food to starving people. The United States of America has been helping people for 200 years in famine until Donald Trump said, let them die, let them starve to death, because Elon Musk wanted them to. The world's richest man killing the world's poorest children.
And this is why, again, none of us buy that you are Christians in the sense of ones who are followers of the Jesus Christ that is referenced in the Bible. I cannot find one Christ-like attribute in any of these Trump voters, especially the ones that are still in the cult. Not one. Find me one Trump supporter where we can actually find one Christ-like attribute. I'll wait.
And so, how does a protester on the streets of Minneapolis get through the heartless depravity that defines Donald Trump and surrounds Donald Trump?
How?
Video recordings proved Renee Good and Alex Preddy were murdered in Minneapolis by Donald Trump's invasion forces. And that made Donald Trump's invasion of Minneapolis ultimately politically untenable for him, as his poll numbers found new lows every week. And so after 2 murders, Donald Trump orders his invasion forces into retreat.
A significant drawdown has already been underway this week and will continue through the next week. A small footprint of personnel will remain for a period of time to close out and transition full command and control back to the field office.
After Donald Trump's full retreat announced today, Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz said this.
Minnesotans never wavered. And for that, I will be forever grateful. I think it's probably safe to say the rest of the country will be forever grateful because they showed what it means to stand up for what's right, to stand up for the true principles of this country, to stand with the Constitution, and to stand with human decency. And so I want to note that the announcement today by Mr. Holman, we are cautiously optimistic, as we've said, and that this surge of untrained, aggressive federal agents are going to leave Minnesota. And I guess they'll go wherever they're going to go. But the fact of the matter is, they left us with deep damage, generational trauma. They left us with economic ruin in some cases. They left us with many unanswered questions. Where are our children? Where and what is the process of the investigation?
And I want to stop right there. Again, where are their children? This is every time, again, I go into these red spaces and they always bring up Obama and the cages and then Biden and the missing kids, and they want to bring that up. I don't want to talk about Barack Obama. I don't want to talk about Joe Biden. I want to talk about the man who said he's better than those two. And then I want you to explain to us why he's not even doing as good as they were, and he's underperforming, and you're still giving him a pass. And MAGA, you can't handle that conversation. And that's why I said, especially on this show, new rule, if we are asking you questions about Donald Trump and you bring up Joe Biden or Obama or a Democrat, conversation's over and you're getting sent straight to hell.
Into those that were responsible for the deaths of Renee and Alex.
This evening, the mayor of Minneapolis told Chris Hayes that the credit for driving Donald Trump out of Minneapolis belongs to the people of Minneapolis.
It is a great relief, and the people that deserve the credit are the residents of Minneapolis. It's the 435,000 people. It's the tens of thousands of people that have been protesting peacefully in the streets, that have been standing up for their neighbors, getting groceries to people that are terrified to go outside. And I'm sure there is going to be relief. I think what you saw is you saw a federal government and an administration that thought that they were going to break the people of Minneapolis down. They thought that we were going to back down and sort of kowtow to whatever it is that they were looking to get done, not just locally in Minneapolis, but nationwide. They were looking to implement a national agenda based on coercing us to change local policy. And here's the thing, we didn't. The people of Minneapolis stood up. They stood up for their neighbors. They loved on each other. And I think that's the kind of patriotism that is ultimately going to get us through this.
Our first guest tonight.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, Minnesotans did stand up and they deserve a round of applause. And actually, I also know that there's been folks like myself on social media, and there's been people who've gone to Minnesota. They deserve a round of applause too, because what we're not going to do is surrender the United States of America over to a dictator. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. If we wanted a dictator, is Donald Trump the right person that we should select for that? Let me ask the audience. Let's just go down that path. If we wanted a dictator, is it really do we want Donald Trump to be that person? Or would you rather have somebody that had a lot more morals and values and a lot more riz? Thank you. No. No. And so, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're going to warm up the lake of fire. Because the whole time Lawrence O'Donnell was talking, and even when I have MAGA talking, these folks in the audience, they're laughing, but they're too weak and they're too afraid to actually get up here and answer some very serious questions. I have serious questions about what's happening right now, and MAGA refuses to answer them. They want to do the whole little Pam Bondi routine. It's not going to work. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire. Because all they're doing is putting on a performance for their dear leader, while the rest of the world laughs at them because they are truly the biggest joke. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these demons straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
Fuck him, like I said.
Who?
That's the worst fucking president I ever known in my life.
Who?
Donald Trump.
Well, what about Bush?
Yeah, Bush was nothing like him.
W. Zeus. And I apologize, Mom. I don't like that on my show, but there's just some things sometimes you gotta keep on standby because it's necessary and it proves the point. All right. So I apologize, especially to my younger audience and those who might be in difficult places. They can't broadcast this show. I don't mean to do that. All right. But bear with me, all right? Trust me, it comes from a good place. W, Zeus. You know, my grandmother always said, whatever you do, do it with love. And that was 110% love. But and we all agree with it, right? We all agree with that, right? Now, the last thing that I am going to talk about, this is something that is another example of what I mean when I say Trump supporters, they don't understand that Donald Trump is actively trying to harm them. Because Donald Trump gets off on, in my opinion, and one of the Epstein people. Actually, I might do this first. One of the Epstein witnesses, the limo driver, he made a statement. I did a video about it. He said something along the lines that everything Donald Trump does makes sense when you realize he wants to be able to get away with harming and possibly unaliving as many people as he can. And so when you think about what Donald Trump gets off on, it all makes sense. But, and so I'll give you an example because I didn't want to get into the Epstein. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll play this video and then we'll do a little Epstein and then I'll open up the box. All right, fair enough. The first thing I want to do is this. Another example of what happens in a red state. This content creator, Lindsay Russo, you should look into this story, by the way. I would share it, but we're on a little bit of a time crunch. She points out what's happening to a woman in a red state, I believe it's Kentucky, right? For having a miscarriage. And there's a lot more nuances to it, but I just want you to listen to a little bit of this and tell me, does this sound like the country you want to live in?
Couple in Boonville, Kentucky, went to the hospital because the woman was having a miscarriage. They told the hospital that the remains were still at their home, and someone at the hospital called 911. Police showed up while Deanne Bennett was still in the hospital, still in the middle of a medical emergency, still tethered to a hospital bed, and they arrested her. They arrested her husband, too. The charges? Reckless homicide, tampering with physical evidence, abuse of a corpse, concealing the birth of an infant. The reckless homicide charge alone carries up to 5 years in prison. For a miscarriage, she went to the hospital for help and left in handcuffs. Her mugshot is already all over Kentucky crime pages. She's sobbing in it, because of course she is. She just lost a pregnancy, and then she lost her freedom in the same day. This is the third pregnancy-related arrest in Kentucky in recent months. Just last month, Miranda Spencer was charged with fetal homicide for her pregnancy loss. Those charges were eventually dropped after her prosecutors admitted that Kentucky's own abortion ban prohibits criminalizing patients. They charged her anyway, ruined her name anyway, splashed her face across the internet anyway, and then said, oops, our bad. The law actually says we can't do this. And it keeps happening everywhere. When police arrested Laken Snelling in Kentucky for her pregnancy loss, they claimed they found a, quote, infant. The county coroner later said they used the word infant when they could be referring to a fetus. In South Carolina, a woman was arrested for supposedly throwing a, quote, stillborn baby in the trash. Turns out she had miscarried at 18 weeks. The language is designed to criminalize, to make you sound like a monster before you ever see a courtroom. Since Roe was overturned, there have been over 400 pregnancy-related arrests in this country. 400. And a new report shows that nearly half of U.S. states have laws on the books that make these prosecutions possible. There is no correct way to handle pregnancy remains that will protect you from arrest right now. People have been criminalized for miscarrying at home on a toilet, for burying remains, for putting them in a bag, for bringing them to a hospital. Every choice leads to a crime scene. Every outcome leads to a mugshot. And here's what the people writing these laws don't want you to think about. Infant death has gone up in Kentucky since the abortion ban. Sepsis has gone up. Maternal mortality has gone up because people are terrified to go to the hospital, because this is what happens when they do. You go in for help and you come out with a felony. The ACLU of Kentucky said it plainly. Anti-abortion lawmakers want to fill jails and courtrooms with grieving Kentuckians based on their pregnancy outcomes, not based on crimes, based on outcomes, based on biology, based on something that happens in 1 out of every 4 pregnancies.
Wow.
Deanne Bennett's arraignment is in March. Her mugshot is already everywhere. Her name is already destroyed. And somewhere in Kentucky right now, a woman is having a miscarriage and wondering if she should call for help. That's the country we built. That's what they wanted.
So what do you have to say now, MAGA? Are you winning? Yes. And this is why I say, and I took time out of this because I know there are conservative women that are still in the MAGA movement. Why? I have no clue. The men in the MAGA movement, they don't care about you. They want you to just simply be, what I call, honestly, it's a little prop. They want you to just be a little prop on their arm. They want you to retreat back to the house and cook and clean for them. You're their property. They don't even want you to have a credit card. If you look at where Donald Trump is taking you, right? Because to him, you're just property. To the MAGA men, you're just property. Because you know what it is? They don't like the fact that you have freedom to date whoever you want to do. You might want to date someone like me, the Rizzler, and I can understand why. Look at my features, all right, W Zeus. And so they're trying to. Thank you all. They're trying their hardest to keep you because they can't keep you being themselves, right? They have to basically use the law to force you to be with them. And that's not love. That's not love. That's actually evil. That's hate. And we don't have any place for that on this show, right? So what we'll do is this, MAGA, this is what you voted for. And, you make your bed, you got to lay in it. And unfortunately, the only way out of this is if you let me, Big Zeus, purge that MAGA demon out of you. And I can do it. I can do it. All right. You want me to do it? All right. Listen up. Drop everything. Turn off the Fox News. All right. Please turn off the Fox News. Put the cheese in the Diet Coke down. Come forward. What was your sin? I went into the voting booths and I nuked myself and voted for Donald Trump. Demon! I rebuke you. Get out of her. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending that demon straight to hell. Somebody has to do this.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
And now, that's a huge W, Zeus. To the women, whenever you're on a date with a Trump supporter, all right, and you're confused about whether or not you should move forward, always remember Donald Trump thinks this about that guy.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
All right, seriously, W, Zeus. All right, the thing that I need help with, ladies and gentlemen, is, and this has to do with Epstein, and then honestly, I got to open up the box because I do see that I'm well past my time slot. Somebody brought this to me, all right, and they said Monica Seles stayed at Mar-a-Lago in 1991, and I just wanted to ask you all, does this sound suspicious to you? Does this sound suspicious? Because I don't want any misinformation on my show, but I just wanted to ask you, does this sound suspicious?
Yet another woman in Donald Trump's life, tennis star Monica Seles. the top-ranking female player in the world, stunned everybody when she suddenly dropped out of Wimbledon. Now she turned up at the Trump mansion in Florida. Rosanna Scotto reports.
Forget about Hernando's hideaway. Turned into Donald Trump's hideaway for tennis fugitive Monica Seles. Seles mysteriously disappeared after abruptly dropping out of the Wimbledon Championships 10 days ago, only to strangely resurface at Trump's palatial Florida estate. The mega developer reportedly invited the 17-year-old Yugoslav to stay at his home so she could...
Did you see that? Did you see that? How old was she? How old was she? Put the number in the chat. How old was she?
Estate. The mega developer reportedly invited the 17-year-old Yugoslav to stay at his home so she could avoid reporters trying to find out why she skipped the tournament. But why would Trump want to get him?
17. Let me ask the audience, is it ever acceptable for a 17-year-old to stay multiple nights at Donald Trump's? I don't know if this is true, but let me play that again one more time because I know there's some of them in the background struggling with this.
To strangely resurface at Trump's palatial Florida estate.
Listen.
The mega developer reportedly invited the 17-year-old Yugoslav to stay at his home so she could avoid reporters trying to find out why she skipped the tournament. But why would Trump want to get involved in this? Could this eligible bachelor have met his match? The editor of Tennis Magazine could only guess.
Athletes attract all kinds of people. Say, we have a term for them called jock sniffers, which, the term, people who feel somewhat bigger by hanging around with athletes or celebrities. And I think it doesn't matter what social status you're from.
Trump has been known to be a big tennis fan. In fact, he found himself in some trouble last year when he was squiring Argentine tennis star Gabriela Sabatini around his casino in Atlantic City. She was 19 years old, underage, according to Jersey law. Trump was served with a fine. While Mr. Trump would not comment on this latest tennis friendship, a published report says the Donald is really not interested in Monica romantically.
No. And she's kind of a melodramatic kid. She's always said she wants to be an actress, and she's loves L.A., and I can see myself in L.A. in a few years, but this is a little bit too Mata Hari-ish, even for tennis.
Less about their friendship?
One incident that I think kind of, proves their closeness and how much they hung out together. One time, on Monday morning, I came in and the commission was waiting. The inspectors were waiting in my office. And Donald and Jeffrey had come into the casino in the wee hours of Sunday morning, 1:30 in the morning. Two buddies. They had three women with them. And the commission was waiting for me because they had determined that the women that they brought down were underage to be on the casino. And when I asked them how they knew that, by the way, one of them was the number 3 ranked tennis player in the world, okay? And this guy happened to be a tennis fan. And he said, Jack, I know she's 19 years old.
Is that acceptable, MAGA? Is that acceptable for y'all, you so-called Christians? Y'all get down like that? Y'all get down like that? I mean, I'm just exposing who what I do on this show, ladies and gentlemen. They never want to get up here and talk to Big Zeus. I get it. I wouldn't want to talk to me either, because the jig's up. The jig is up. We have this breaking news too. I don't know if you can see this, ladies and gentlemen, but you could go check it out. The Patriotic Blonde. Hey, Pam Bondi, this you hanging out with Keith Frankel, the same Keith Frankel who is referenced in the Epstein files, talking with Jeffrey Epstein about body boxes in 2010. The same Keith Frankel whose family runs a children's home that rescues children from Ukraine. The same Ukraine referenced in the files as being a hotbed for child S trafficking. Do the Epstein victims you claim to represent know that you're buddies with one of the abusers? She does. And Patriotic Blonde, ladies and gentlemen, she is a former Trump voter who has opened up her eyes and she can see. So, I don't know if we can see this, but this is the attorney general with somebody who is referenced in the files as an abuser. I think that's interesting, right? Let's see, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. The other thing, dentist girlfriend Sherlock emailed Epstein about a missing Colombian student believed to be Jawan Lee, found unalive in the Hudson River in 2014. And this is the email that proves the unthinkable. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when you have this much evidence, and you know what Donald Trump says, where there's smoke, there's fire. The question is, when is Donald Trump going to resign? Why does the American people have to sit around here and dig through this and not? And he still has Howard Lutnick working for him. Howard Lutnick got paid $50,000, I read, from Jeffrey Epstein after lying to all of us, saying he had nothing to do with him. And so what we'll do is this, and then I'm going to open up the box. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire once again. Impeach and convict. Yeah, impeach, remove, convict. Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire, because MAGA knows that they've been caught with they've been caught supporting the most disgusting, vile, just evil ever known. There's nothing Epstein and Trump, there's nothing Epstein has done that I could think of that isn't illegal. I think he's done everything that's illegal. Ladies and gentlemen, and he was Trump's best friend. Join me in sending these demons straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
And that's and that's a huge W, Zeus. All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, listen, that concludes the monologue, and it is now time for us to move on to the next part of the show, where we get to interact with some amazing panelists, those who are brave enough to get up here. All right. So if you're in the guest request on accident, I ask that you hop on out. All right. Hop on out. I'm cooking. All right. Thank you. And you're doing a great job. Because some people, you accidentally send me a guest request, go ahead and hop on out. But if you are seriously wanting to come up here and say what you need to say, come on up here. I ask that you keep it clean. And I also say, don't ignore the people in the comment section. Honestly, just say what you want to say, and I'll do the rest. All right. But you can address them if you can avoid not letting it get personal. But other than that, come on up here. Moving on. Let me bring up my first panelist. Good morning, Shay. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. I'm loving the new setup. This is really cool.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I've noticed.
Feels all official now.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The beautiful Shay. You got to give her a round of applause. Well, and there's going to be more changes, by the way, but I think I got to get this part nailed first. All right. And so,
I know.
You've been very.
My little boy's all grown up. I knew you will.
Thank you. Well, you've grown up too, as well. All of us have. We all have grown up. Seriously,
haven't we? Haven't we? Yeah. It's been a great journey.
Yes.
Rough roads, but great journey. I tell you, bumpy but good. We're still. At least we're not. At least we didn't vote for this man. I tell you.
True.
3 times, like so many of them, like Viper, and so many of them just still lost in the shadows.
Yeah.
Just so lost. Coming in here doing their thing, but. This is really interesting when you watch their own eat their own, right? Yeah. It's been fascinating with the Candace Owens stuff and the Erica Kirk. It looks like Turning Point is really starting to fail. I remember sadly when CK was unalive, they just had all these all this membership stuff go up, and all the merch sells and all this stuff where she was bragging about that a couple of days after his memorial, right?
Yeah.
Look at the numbers here and the chapters and all that. Well, it's looking really bad for Turning Point.
Thank you.
It looks like a lot of the chapters are going to be closing. It's because honestly, a lot of it was around CK. He was that voice. I'll always give him credit and agree with him. But he absolutely did a phenomenal job building up the Turning Point USA. We can't take that away from him.
We can't take it from him, but is it really carrying out the mission it originally was carrying out when he was around? That's the question, right?
Well, no, it was indoctrination at its finest, right? Yeah. And when you go into people and you got these young brains that are not even fully developed and indoctrinating them, even though he's saying that, he's going to college campuses, meanwhile telling people you shouldn't be in college, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be wasting your money, right? It's pretty crazy. But anyway, so that's been really interesting. Donald Trump is at the lowest approval rating of any president.
But
Now,
but
I
wait a
will
minute about the
say,
job. But we had a great jobs report, Shay. Come on, got to give
we
him some
did.
credit, please.
We did. It's kind of interesting that Biden added over 8 million jobs.
Yeah.
3 million of those being in his last year in 2024.
Yeah.
And in Trump's first year, he only added 180,000 jobs.
Is that?
Yeah.
The
3
crowd is-
million in 2024, right?
Yeah. She's not lying.
180,000
Yeah.
in 2025.
Wow.
We're doing so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the stock market, right, Pam Bondi, the stock market.
According to her, is doing great, but then it dipped yesterday under
And then
50,000.
Right? It dipped. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was like she's sitting there bragging and then it dipped. It's like, oh my God.
Do
The stock market is not the only
Let me
marker,
ask you
but
though,
anyway.
do you trust the numbers coming out of the Trump administration?
No, why would we? Why would we ever trust their numbers when they're clearly trying to cover it up?
Oh my God! Wow, does anyone trust the numbers? Because I don't trust them. And I agree with you. But I believe there are people who are on this app trying to argue things and say like, oh look, gas prices are down, and so because that to them means the economy is doing good. But how's the gas price down, right? And then I see the beef prices up still. He said 17% in some places, and then our utility bills, they haven't been cut in half. And do you remember Drill Baby Drill, Shay?
Oh yes, I remember Drill Baby Drill.
What was the math on that? Wasn't it like what if the gas prices go down, wasn't everything supposed to go down?
Yes, everything. Your electricity, your everything. Cost of homes, cost of everything was going to go down. We just drilled, baby, drilled.
Yeah. And you're
Fracking.
saying and that's not happening.
No.
All right. Wow.
No, we've closed I think 90 drilling platforms, I think. Wow. No, there's a lot of drilling platforms that are being closed down. Refineries aren't opening. There's a few that are starting to open, but very little.
Yeah.
If we can't refine it, I mean, what's the point, right?
Yeah.
So, which is why they went to Venezuela to get the dirty oil, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, but what are we still going to do that if we can't refine it? And that's how you make gasoline, by the way, people. It's refining the oil. So it just doesn't even, it's just ridiculous. None of the math is mathing. And at this point, if they're still in the cult, they don't really care about any of this stuff, even though that's what they debated us on.
And I'm so glad that you said that, Shay. They're still in the cult and they do not care about any of these things that they have debated us on. I mean, and so what that proves is that they are not Americans. They don't love themselves and they don't love their country, and so we're just going to keep holding them accountable, so to speak. All right. And then hopefully
well, exactly. Hey, can we talk about the SAVE Act for a second?
Oh, go for it, please put that out there.
So here's the deal, and listen, all of us believe that only American citizens should vote. Okay.
Raise your hand. Well, let's ask that because the Democrats, we're being accused of opening the borders so that people can vote illegally. And is that kind of what they're saying?
Yes.
But the borders were open and Trump also won the election. Right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Ooh, good point.
So,
I see where you're going. Yeah.
So please explain what the SAVE Act is supposed to do. I didn't want to cut you off.
They are trying to make it 10 times harder to vote because they do not. If you make it easier to vote, right, and more convenient, as 2020 showed, Republicans will never make it back in office. That's what 2020 showed us, right? They're going to talk about, the 7 states and their constitutions and all that. No. Bottom line is, it was a lot easier to vote. You could mail in, you could drop off, all of these things to keep social distancing.
Yeah.
That is why we had more voters that ever showed up. That's how Joe Biden could beat the numbers of Barack Obama, all the stuff we ever heard.
Yeah.
It's a math game, guys, period. More people, It was easier because people are working full-time jobs. So here's the deal. Instead of creating something ridiculous like the SAVE Act, so here we had the real IDs, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, some of the states had real IDs. Texas had a real ID.
Yeah, we did
You
too.
had to jump through hoops to get a real ID. You had to have 2 forms to show your actual legal address. You had to show that you had car insurance. You have to show your birth certificate. You had to show 2 forms of ID, whether it was your old driver's license, a passport, social security card, all of it.
Yeah.
You had to go gather all that information, right?
Yep.
And for a lot of people, the hospitals they were born in were burned down. Some of them don't have birth certificates.
Right.
Some of them had their house burned down. Some of them moved and they couldn't find it. So then they have to pay. You have to pay to get another copy of your actual birth certificate. Then it actually has to be a sealed, stamped birth certificate. You can't make a copy of it. So here you call your mother, might still have your birth certificate, and then your mother has to go, who's 85 years old, exactly. It's in the baby book along with your clip of your lock hair and your baby teeth, whatever.
Yep.
So then, then you're asking your 80-some-odd-year-old mother to officially get you a copy of it. All this stuff, like it is not easy, right? So everybody needs to try to find their birth certificate. If you haven't, go ahead and start that process.
Yep.
But that's not free, right? Getting a passport costs $165, and that's if you want to wait 3 months.
Yep.
Right? Okay. If you need it ASAP, it's going to cost you over $300 to expedite it.
Yeah. No,
That's a lot.
Revolt.
That's
She
a
doesn't
lot of
have
money,
to
guys.
stop Revolt. What Shay is explaining
Why?
is basically Shay.
This. I've been through the process.
Thank you. So no, she's not going to stop. We welcome truth on this show. W Shay, all right? So no Revolt. But what you need to do, Revolt, just sit your special behind down and listen to this special broadcast, because what Shay is breaking down is this is actually going to harm a lot of Trump voters.
Yes, it is. You're going to harm more conservative women will change their names than liberal women, right? That's the thing. So here you have to change. So none of our birth certificates, those of us that changed our names, do not match, right? So then what do you have? Then you have to go get a passport, which also takes your birth certificate to get. Any of you have gone through the passport situation, then you know all the forms of ID you have to have on that, right?
Yeah.
So here's the deal. So I'll get into more of the SAVE Act. It's not just you have to show, so you have to go in person now to register to vote. So in the state of Texas, when I do my driver's license, I can register to vote at the exact same time. Right?
Me
I can
too,
click
yeah.
that box,
Yeah.
registers me to vote.
Yeah.
So they're taking that away. So when people go get their ID and their passports, they can no longer register to vote while they're getting the forms of ID that proves you're an American citizen.
Right.
Do you understand how extra of a step that is?
Yeah.
So now you have to go in person, and as a married woman who changed your legal name, you now have to have a birth certificate or a passport with you in order to register to vote.
Yeah.
On top of it, I don't know if you have read in the SAVE Act, but it
Yeah.
also requires states to establish voter purge programs using experts.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
It also subjects election officials to citizens and potential prison time for any single erroneous registration, right?
Wow.
Even if the
Criminalized.
person, listen to this, even if the person is an actual U.S. citizen, if you are registering a person to vote and you make an error, let's say a spelling in their name, a date,
So you can go to jail.
You can literally go to prison if you absolutely accidentally switch up a name, number, whatever in their registration.
This is crazy. I mean, it seems like MAGA loves going to prison. That's what they're just hell bent on going there. Is there something happening in prison, MAGA, that y'all just want to be a part
who's
of?
going to take this job?
And
Would you take a job
No.
that if you absolutely accidentally make an error in a name or a number
No,
of an
I wouldn't,
address
Shay.
or date?
No.
Would you take that job?
I wouldn't, and especially while Donald
I
Trump
wouldn't
is the
take that job.
president. And so this is what I'm saying. W's in the chat for Shay. You just, It's called the Save America Act, and what we realize it's the Don't Save America Act. All right, it's actually the
Also,
exact.
your real ID doesn't count anymore. So all that amount of time took cost $25 to get a real ID. By the way, 25, not 16.
We're not going to have
$25.
Wow.
Okay, and then so it omits the real ID, omits marriage certificates.
Yeah.
So okay, I changed my name. So you would think for the passport, I had to finally change my passport to my married name. So all my IDs match. I had to take my marriage. So now I can't use a marriage certificate to prove why my name is changed from my birth certificate. Do y'all see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
This isn't about, and I'll end with this. This is not about, we don't want people to have an ID, right? This is absolutely the way to make it so much harder for 60 million American women that have changed their names. 60 million, I think it's 69 million.
Yeah, I read
women
69 million. Yeah, you're right.
that have changed their names. It's making
voter suppression
them
right
harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the deal. If you want all this, then we need a national holiday to vote. We need all of this to be free.
Thank you.
Right? Otherwise, it's a freaking poll tax. And then we also need transportation for free.
Thank you. Thank you.
And all of that. If you don't want American citizens who want to vote to be harmed,
this is amazing,
subjugated,
thank you, Shay.
And more difficult
Yeah.
to use my rights as a citizen to vote in this country, then things need to change. Vote no, senators.
Thank you.
Vote right, all your senators, to vote no on the Save America Act.
I'm going to
Again,
be calling them
it's
again.
not about having an ID. This is not about being an American citizen in order to vote. We are all fine with that. I already read to you the problems with the Save America Act. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Love y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zeus.
Thank you, Shay, and for coming up here, doing your homework, and sharing that. That means a lot because we got to continue to get real information out here to these people. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Shay a huge round of applause. No lies detected. All right, and so yeah, we keep to the Trump voters. Honestly, why are you so triggered by us giving out real information and real truth? We know most MAGA men that you don't care about women at all. I just gave you the example of the woman in Kentucky in the hospital on the bed. Guess what? Guys wearing masks come in. They want to put her in handcuffs and give her a criminal record. That's all y'all want to do. We know your game and the jig is up. It's not going to work. And like I said, if what we're saying on my show, because it's the best show on TikTok, right? If what we're saying is really bothering you, you know the rule.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country.
And you do.
If you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right. So let's bring up our next panelist, ladies and gentlemen. Who do we got next? I try to mix it up. Make sure you double check, ladies and gentlemen, to see if you accidentally hit the guest request, because if you did, you might want to hop on out. Okay. Let's see. I don't see you in the request, Q-Dog. I can't even send you an invite, Q-Dog. I can't even send you an invite. I think maybe something happened, or I don't know. F and F, what does that mean, Dame? There hasn't been one lie told so far. Renee, I'm trying to get you in, but it's not. You can send me another guest.
Hello?
Oh, okay, now I can hear you. Welcome. How are you?
I'm sorry. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm doing good.
Good. So my question, Shay dropped down. I never heard that about the real ID. I'm in California. I'm in the Bay Area.
Oh, shout out to the Bay. Me too. All right.
So
You're in the
that's
Bay?
not going to be accepted?
You're in the Bay out here too? Okay, fair enough. Yay area. Fair enough.
SF Oakland, yeah.
Is it as bad as people say it is out
but yeah,
here?
I didn't hear about that.
think there's a delay.
No, not at all. Actually, during the Super Bowl weekend, I was giving out of towners tours of San Francisco, and they were surprised how clean the streets were.
Amen. Amen.
So I met some friends.
So
They were like, "Wow, San Francisco's actually really nice."
Yeah, they only believe the negative stuff their dear leader feeds them. But this place is vibrant. This place is live. It's popping out here in the Bay. And you get great food, great music, beautiful people, right? But I didn't want to distract you from that. I'm so sorry. I just, we had to do some Bay Area love real quick. All right,
You're
you know
good.
what I mean? Thank you. These folks don't understand, especially these folks that live in Texas. These brothers that are from Texas. Living in the dark places in Texas. They ain't never seen nothing like this.
Exactly.
No offense to people from Texas, but
No, my question.
There's a delay.
Yeah, the Bay is special. What can I say? It's a special place. And but yeah, so my question was for Shay or you. Like, I didn't hear about the Real ID, so that's not going to be acceptable under the SAFE Act.
From what I understand,
for voting,
they want you to bring passport and your birth certificate. Those are the main documents that they accept. So,
wow,
yeah, that's the difference, right? And so, if you don't have a way to verify who you are based on the requirements, then yeah, the ID might not be enough. And again, that's what makes it alarming. And they're saying 0.004% of the country really has this as a problem. So it's not even a problem. You know what I mean? Which is why I asked the question. I said, if the borders were wide open, then how did Donald Trump win? So you're going to do all of this.
Exactly.
You're going to do the gerrymandering, right? You're going to do all of these things to try to win. And the outcome is still going to be the same. If he would have done his job, I think he would have gotten, the midterms would have probably went in his favor. But it's his failures that are causing this to be the issue. And I don't care how you draw the lines. People are turned off by the Trump administration. They're turned off by his supporters. Case closed.
And people are waking up, like this stuff, and I won't say the name. In my opinion, like, I no longer can and I know you do, and I give you props for having conversations with them. I just can't.
Yeah.
Anyone at this point who supports this administration and him for all the despicable, vile, disgusting things that is going on or that went on, like, I can't even have a conversation with you anymore.
You're
just too far gone.
Tell them.
That's how I feel about it.
And you're protecting your peace, and I encourage that. I totally encourage people to protect their peace.
Yes.
Because it's necessary. And then I also say you're doing your job as a citizen of this country, educating yourself and making sure you don't go into that voting booth, right? Yes. And I say it's like you nuke yourself, right?
Exactly.
Don't do that, all right? But Renee, listen, it was a great pleasure checking in with you, all right? We're going to try to get more people up here. W's in the chat.
Bay Area. Bye.
Bye-bye. W's in the chat for our good friend Renee. I'm not even following you, but I thought I was, but I'm going to make sure I'm following you. All right.
Okay, cool.
Gotcha.
All right, thanks, Zeus.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All righty then, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it amazing when you get people up here? They're on message. They tell the truth. They shame the devil. You know what I mean? This is what this show is all about. All right. You said you're back, Q-Dog. All right. Let me see. I can't send you an invite. For some reason, can you hop in the guest request? Can you hop in the guest request, Q-Dog? Because I don't know why it's not. I don't see you in there. I'm not trying to ignore you. But it will not let me send you an invite. Maybe you got in trouble on the app. Maybe you got in trouble on the app. Drina, you voted red. Send me a guest request. Okay. I'm looking in there. Okay, let's see. I don't see you, bro. What the heck? That is so weird. It really, I don't see you. I don't even see the option to invite you. Maybe it's TikTok giving me the blues once again. You never know what's going on, all right? But if you can, please send me a guest request. I can see Darlene. Good morning, Darlene. Are you there? Did you accidentally send a guest request, Darlene? Darlene, are you there? I think Darlene may have guest request. All righty then. Let me move it on. All right. I still don't see you, bro. I still don't see you. I think you may have gotten in trouble or something. Your live access. Have you double checked to see if your live access is still there? You might want to double check your live access, Q Dog, because it's not letting me bring you lowered creations. Lower. Are you there? Lower creations going once. Going twice. Sold. All right. There. I think it's glitching. I think you're on my end. Let's see. I don't see any glitching. Yeah, I don't see any glitching. I can see the people in the guest request. Good morning to Keisha. How are you doing, sis?
Good morning, Zeus. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
You know, Zeus, I find it strange that the man trying to steal the election keep talking about a stolen election. Like you said,
Yeah.
every accusation is a mega confession.
Facts.
Because that's honestly all they trying to do. They're trying to make sure that there are not enough votes, people to vote against them. But if they hadn't learned anything, they said that the way the Democrats won in Texas was Republicans voted for the Democrat.
Right.
So you trying to X out a lot of the votes that you think against you when your own people voting against you. So it's not even gonna work.
Speak on it. Speak on it. So what are they missing, do you think? Why are they missing this obvious point?
Zeus, I'm gonna say it again. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last.
And that's from the Bible. That's from the survival
And that's the
scroll.
word of God. You see how these people got to step down, these big folks, because of these files. You see they stepping down and losing their jobs.
Yeah,
Zeus.
yeah.
The last shall be first. And the first shall be last.
Hey, let's go.
And let me say
Go
this
ahead,
to
Keisha.
let me say this to your audience right quick. I know how to speak correct English. But why would I speak correct English when I'm talking to people that don't understand it? So if I mispronounce a word, if I say a word that's, you don't find correct or you don't think is, sounds professional, why would I speak on a social media app in my professional voice? What would be the purpose
Lady
of
boss,
that?
go ahead. Tell them, Keisha.
What would be the purpose of speaking smart pronunciations to dumb down people? What would be the point?
They couldn't keep
What's
up.
the point, Zeus? What would be the point, Zeus?
Yeah, I can't figure it out, to be honest with you, because a lot of them are struggling to keep up. They haven't gone past the 4th grade with their education, from what I've understand, and that's based on real research.
These people don't understand the difference between THERE, THEIR, or THEY apostrophe RE. Why would I waste my professional voice on people on TikTok? Let's be for real, Zeus.
I can't answer the question, because to me, it's clearly an issue when it comes to comprehension with MAGA, right? Cognitive dissonance, they say. And I've wrestled with it, right? I try to be on the nicer side, on the up and up side, to at least penetrate their cerebral cortex in a way, and none of it seems to work. None of it does.
But these are the same people who swear they understand what Melania Trump is saying. Who swear they understand what Donald Trump is saying, who gets up there and rants and raves like a maniac, but they want to say something about the way I speak.
Yeah.
I have a professional voice. I promise you, if I used it on here, you wouldn't comprehend it.
They wouldn't. They don't understand. You said they don't understand Melania, but they put up with it. But then they get upset.
They swear they understand every word she say.
But they have a problem with Bad Bunny. They have a problem with Bad Bunny, though. Ain't that something?
But you have a problem with Bad Bunny. But she getting up there speaking like a robot who has not been in the United States but a minute.
Hey, man, Takesha. Go ahead, Takesha. You keep exposing.
Y'all Stop it.
Liars and hypocrites, these folks they possess. None of us buy any of their excuses that they make. They make excuses for some of the most simplest things. And it's like, who do you think you're talking to, right? We see you
Zeus,
for what you're doing.
Zeus, they play too much, but you know what? They be on me, Kiki. They be on me about my cash app. They be on me about the way I speak.
Shout
They
out to
be
your
on
Cash
me.
App, by the way. Yeah.
Listen, they be on me about so much, Zeus, till I don't even feel like I need a man because they be on me so much. I don't even have room for a man to get on me.
Oh, wow. That's AW Takesha. Y'all know that's true. And you know who's your biggest fan? Tiny Tank Top Tim and Swerving adds the turkey neck part. But yeah, you know these folks, they love them because deep down in their heart, they want you, all right? And so don't be
They
distracted.
love me.
Yeah.
Zeus, listen.
Yeah.
I'm just like the way they treated Obama. They talk about me, Zeus, but they love me. They would love to meet me in person, Zeus. But half of them that talk all that noise, if they meet me on the street, they'll be done knocked. Taken.
They'd have an out-of-body experience. Wow.
Taken, Zeus.
Tell them. Yeah. No lies detected. No
You'll
lies.
be shaking.
Yeah.
You'll walk past me so fast you would turn your head to the left so I couldn't see it. Stop it.
Thank you. Yeah. And we're going to
all right.
And we're going to continue to expose these people just like you said. Thank you so much, Takesha. I truly appreciate it. No lies detected.
Thank you,
no, thank you. No lies detected. See? It ain't that hard. Just simply get up here and be honest with the American people. A lot of people listen to this show and they know we're on fire. They know what we're saying is true, but it bothers them. It really does bother them that we're openly and proudly able to say what needs to be said. Good morning, debates. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good morning, Zeus.
Good morning. We meet again. We meet again. I'm doing pretty good. What about you?
Wonderful. Yeah, I mean, it's another day here in America.
Yeah.
You know, waking up this morning to stories about how people were fired because Kristi Noem, the dog unaliver, forgot her blankie on the plane.
Huh.
I don't know if you saw that story this morning.
Her and Corey, because they're in a relationship,
Yes.
right? And it's people know they're in a relationship, but in public they're saying there's no relationship. And now, what was the exact story behind the blanket? Because I glanced at it, but I don't quite remember all the details.
Yeah, so from what I read this morning, Corey Lewandowski on behalf of Kristi Noem fired a Coast Guard pilot because the Coast Guard pilot, left her blankie on the plane that they were using for an official trip.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. So
And maybe it was a very
taxpayers gotta
special
fund
blankie
this.
to her. I mean, what I came up to say, honestly, is, obviously we've been talking a lot about Pam Bondi and the sham testimony she gave all of us the other day. But I think it should be important that we, on TikTok, when we're talking to MAGA about Pam Bondi, we don't even need to bring up Donald Trump at this point, right? Because we can go back to the fact in July of 2025, she closed the federal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's files because they said they had no evidence of further investigations into third parties. And now we've seen photographs of Prince Andrew on top of underage girls. So so that would be my push to MAGA moving forward is, so wait a second. I'm not even talking about Trump. I'm talking about a guy that there's photographic evidence doing stuff with children. And Pam Bondi has decided not to charge those people. Why?
That's a good question. And have you thought about it? And what do you think? Why do you think Pam Bondi isn't moving forward with actually, going after these people who were labeled co-conspirators in some cases, right? And there's a lot of prominent businessmen. Why do you think she would be covering up for this? Because I've heard that she's afraid that she's going to spend the rest of her life in jail too. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why she was as crazy as this sounds, she was very careful on what she said the other day. For example, one of the things that she wouldn't apologize to the survivors about how some of their names have been wrongfully unredacted, right? So that their names are out there. And I think the reason why she did it is because I'm sure there's an investigation that could be done to show that they intentionally left those names to be unredacted, so that they could use them and scare them into staying quiet.
Wow. So you think that the DOJ, in some cases, is targeting some of the survivors to force them to try to stay quiet about what they know?
Yes, I think that obviously we've learned, and since we started looking into the files, that this goes beyond politics, right? It goes beyond the United States, and there's a lot of powerful people that are involved. And I think to shut people off, you just got to scare the shit out of them, and I think that's what they're actively trying to do.
Well, we got to keep it clean, but I catch what you said. All right, W Debates. Ladies, he's not lying. There's some folks out there, honestly, when you say what you just said, they are saying you're lying. What do you say to those folks? Because I think we and I can both agree there's still some people in the cult that are holding out hope for Donald Trump to act at some point. You know, they think he's playing 5D chess. You ever heard that? They think he's playing 5D chess because he cooperated, according to them, with local law enforcement to try to get Epstein. So don't you understand where they're coming from and why they're holding out hope?
Well, I love that story, right? Because if we just take a look back down memory lane, which is not that long ago, the president referred to these files as a Democratic hoax. He's so much so that he is quoted by saying that he didn't know what JE was doing, right? And now all of a sudden, MAGA's holding on to this story from the Palm Beach sheriff who's saying that Donald Trump personally called and said, finally, someone's doing something. We know what he's been doing this entire time. So what is it? Did he lie to the American people when he said he did not know what Epstein was doing? Or was he a part of taking Epstein down? Which I think we have an understanding that maybe because he's in the files a million times.
Yeah.
Right at this point.
Yeah.
That it's probably a little bit. I think the reason why he potentially called the Palm Beach guy was because he wants to get the dog sniffing the other way.
Yeah. Bingo. You're right. W's in the chat for our good friend Debate. Yeah. A lot of people think the same way. Because you can't have your name in that many ways. Your name in the files that many times and you don't have a clue. No, you're lying if you tell us that. All right. And it looks to me from the way it looks, it should be called the Trump files, huh? I think it should be called the Trump files. Not that you shouldn't call them the Epstein files. They really should be called the Trump files. Well, listen, brother, I appreciate you.
Thanks,
Are you going live later? You and Ange, because you and Ange do a great job debating and tag teaming. I love listening to when you and Ange go live, and y'all these Trump supporters, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're following debates.
W Ange,
Yeah.
we love her, and
Yeah.
thanks, Zeus.
All right, you're
Appreciate
welcome. W Debates. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot of honest brokers of the truth tuning in this morning. This is amazing. What a great show. What a great Friday. Yes, and W to all of you in the chat. Okay. Oh, look at that. Look what the cat has drug in. Bretta, welcome.
What's up, Zeus?
What's up? I haven't heard from you in a while. Have you decided to change your ways, or is there something you would like us to address in the kingdom this morning?
I have not been led astray by the misinformation being spewed by you and your people. No, though the administration is not perfect, and I can concede many things didn't go 100% because I'm not as biased and blind as your side is, I'm going to say that most of the things that he promised on are being executed.
Like?
We can highlight, what up, Dame? We can highlight.
You don't need to what up, Dame. It's Big Zeus in here. Dame, the Rizzler and all that, that's here. All right, so, all right, but you know what? If you got to feed him crumbs, I guess you can feed him some crumbs. But seriously, what is the one thing Donald Trump has done for you that you just think got your head over heels for him?
What do you mean head over heels? By acknowledging that he's executing on the promises?
Like just top thing.
Election?
I can't be a hater.
Immigration.
That he's not polling that well on immigration.
It doesn't matter. A lot of people have been misled by your misinformation campaign. That's why I said I'm not.
So the one
you guys really believe? Hold on. You guys really believe that he is just deporting people because they're Spanish? That's not true, right? You guys misrepresent 1158 of Title 8. You guys are minimum the policies and where gas is today. You guys don't like the tariff revenue. Say that we paid for it, but
We had
don't
that
point it out
conversation.
in every. Hold on. Don't point it out in every single
Hold up. Hold
economic
on.
metric.
Hold on. Let's just cut the chase, bro. The
Yeah.
average person in America, they're not, so to speak, really invested in researching all those things that you've named, correct? You go out into your community and you
Right.
just talk to the average person. Why is it the case, in your opinion, that the average person, if you didn't hear about this, they're saying Joe Biden is actually did better than Donald Trump is? Why do you think that is? Because that's kind of the question. Biden's not popular by a long shot, but Americans, after 1 year of Trump, they're at least looking back and they're able to say Biden did better. They don't know all those things you just listed. What do you think is going on? And be honest, you said you're not biased.
Yeah, I think the people don't do research and they go off of emotion at the time. So they believe whatever the news and popular influencers like you say. So that's what they can't, they don't know that. Here's the thing, they don't know inflation is always going to go up with that we target for 2.2%, but you do. But still, if you say prices are up,
Yeah.
but you know that truth, right?
Did Trump promise to do certain things like cut our utility bills in half? That's to me, a relationship is built on trust. And it starts with an agreement. So if somebody says, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z for you, and then they don't do it, then that erodes trust. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect
Thank
sense.
you. And
Do we
what we can see is in the example of cutting the utility bills, he said after a year, they'll be cut in half. He promised us that with drill baby drill, the cost of everything would go down because, as far as he explained it, everything was inflated because energy costs more. When energy goes down, things get cheaper, but that's not really how it's playing out. So maybe the American people have woken up to the fact that Donald Trump is a liar. Have you ever thought about that? Can we agree that Donald Trump is a liar?
every human on the planet lies. So Donald Trump is a liar, of course, and especially politicians.
Okay.
Politicians are liars. He stepped into politics. He might have exaggerated. He's from New York City. We speak exaggerated.
Yeah.
So I chose for New York City to be the president of the United States.
But
Right.
you
So
can't exaggerate
I
at
can
that
say that,
level.
but that doesn't mean that you get to use that and stretch it to fearmonger the people out of believing the president is not doing.
I mean, I don't think I'm fear mongering people. What I've done, if you haven't been paying attention to my show, is I've played a lot of clips from people who are on the right that are actually expressing frustration. All right. And that includes Marjorie Taylor Greene. Do you think she's fear mongering when she's going on the record, when she puts it on, like, who resigns from their position? And as a member of Congress, who resigns early and says, I'm hanging up because of this particular person, and it's the president of the United States? Who does that unless it's really serious? Right? I mean,
A person who has a more extreme ideas to the right, and the president is not conforming to that. That's who. A person who sees an unbiased president and thought, oh, I thought this guy was all the way extra to my right, and realized that he wasn't.
So in other words, a person who's been lied to by the president. And to your word,
No,
he's a
people
liar.
who lie to themselves about the
No,
president.
because earlier you said we're all liars, which means you understand Donald Trump is clearly a liar. Now, there's degrees of it, right? You know about Donald Trump's record of telling the truth, or as I like to say, he's not really honest. He's been caught lying over 30,000 times in his first term. But what does it say when one of his own, fearless major supporters decides, I'm going to resign from Congress because this man is not honest, and as a matter of fact, he's also abusive? What does that say? And I think to you, this is a difficult thing. It says he's not good. And I think that's why I was asking you. I said, well, what is it that has you as a person of color head over heels still about Donald Trump. And the thing is, you said it's immigration. And I'm going, but he's not polling that well. You just heard he had to retreat in Minnesota because of how aggressive the tactics were. All right. And he keeps bragging, saying there's 0 crossings. That's not true. Those numbers are actually inaccurate. There's thousands of people still coming in, maybe not as many as Joe Biden, but it's not a 0. So I wouldn't even give you points for that. And then I was and something just popped in my head, the Obama thing. What are your thoughts about that? As a person of color, as a black man in America, what do you think about that?
I'll address this, but of course we know it's not going to be 0 entries at the border because we have asylum laws. We have to hear their story. That doesn't mean that we're not enforcing 1325 and being strict with 1158. That's what he means, okay? And that's another thing that y'all do to kind of stretch the truth. Like, oh, he says 0 border encounters, but people are still coming in. He's failing.
Here's
you
the thing.
Just did it live.
Here's the thing, Bretta. Have you ever been in a math class?
I got you, but let me finish my thought before.
Oh, we gotta
I've been in the math class. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in the math class.
So you understand that if you are asked to solve an equation, can you exaggerate the results, or do you have to be accurate in order to actually get credit?
You have to actually be accurate. It's math.
Yeah, that's
math
how
is more precise, though.
No, but that's how the world works, right? In accounting, right? You want your money in your account. What if everyone just kind of exaggerated when it came to what they owed you, and they just say, "Oh, well, 5 is similar to like $100. They owe you 100, they give you 5. It's the same thing." You wouldn't fall for that, and that's the thing. When you're the president of the United States, you're held to the highest standard possible here in the United States, right? Just like a leader of any major company. You can't exaggerate things like that because in some cases, this is life or death, bro. And that's why I said to you, if he says 0, then I want to see 0. If it's not 0, then he needs to be a little more accurate and say, well, we've reduced it from, 100,000 to 6,000, right? And I don't understand why he can't do that. That's just my 2 cents.
He does exaggerate. This is true, but people from New York, that's what we do. We exaggerate.
You gave him an excuse. You gave him an excuse. All right.
No, it's not an excuse when I originally opened up conceding that he shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, if you say he shouldn't do it, then you shouldn't say, well, it's because he's from New York. No, it has nothing to do where you're from. It's just his personality. I know a lot of honest people from New York. All right. And so that's, to me, that's actually trying to make a statement about people from New York. That's not true. That's not how, people understand what it takes to be honest. The last thing, though, honestly, because I appreciate you. We're having a serious man-to-man conversation. But I really was curious. I talked to Blagga quite a bit. The Obama thing. How did that land with you?
Okay, so here's what I'll say. When I originally saw it, I saw the full clip, and I thought he posted the full clip. It was clarified to me that it was the piece of Obama attached to another clip that had nothing to do with it. All right, done by some intern or Twitter handler. I didn't like the depiction, but I also don't like that you guys didn't highlight that it was a full video when you went crazy. I didn't like. Let me repeat it. I didn't like that Obama was put on gorillas, but I also and Michelle, but I also know that no matter what animal they would have put Obama on, if they would put him on donkeys, oh, they're saying black people are stupid. Look, he put him on donkeys. If we would have put him on giraffes, he would have said, look, they're making fun of African culture. There's nation in Africa that stretches their neck. They're trying to mock. Y'all would have found anything to make it a racist thing. This is what's your problem. Like, you make everything a racist thing, that when sometimes something is racist, it detracts from your point.
Got it.
Generally, right?
So, from what I understand, the Democrats are the problem with this whole Obama thing, not Trump. Is that what you're saying? Like,
no, I told you that was a back depiction.
Because we felt a certain type of way about it. We're also in this with Donald Trump, based on what you're saying. Is that correct?
Wow, you are just you're good at that. Like, you're a smart guy. You just twisted all of that.
Well, because what I wanted to hear you say is, Zeus, it was racist, and I
But
condemn
I
it.
did not say that.
No, you went around the bush to somehow justify it being somewhat palatable, because the next part of
No,
what
I
I was
didn't.
trying to
I
get you
said
to
it was
come clean.
bad.
Is it enough evidence for you now to acknowledge that Donald Trump is a racist? Have you
That
arrived
Don,
there? Have you arrived to where I'm at with when you? Because you say we make everything about race, right? I'm at the point personally where I say Donald Trump is a racist person. He surrounds
if
himself with
it, you
racist
would have been
people.
at that point.
Do you believe after that? Are you at the point now in your own personal journey where you can acknowledge that the person you're still supporting is a racist person? Because you can be a black person and support racist people. I get it. Is that where you're at right now? It's like, I'm okay with him being a racist. Is that kind of where you're at?
No, Trump is not racist. All right, and don't send me to the lake of fire.
That gonna
Relax.
get you. You knew exactly because I have a standing rule on my show. What is it? The rule: when you lie, you must fry, right? And you're not gonna be able to get away with saying Trump isn't a racist on this show, brother. You just can't. So,
But I believe that no matter what
you want to
animal he
take
would
that
have made
back?
Obama, and
Do you want to take that back, or because did you
but
hear him?
no
Did he
matter
go to
what
Obama?
animal,
Did he go to Obama? He's about to go to Biden, and that's the second violation on the show. Dame, you should have told him, because I have a rule: if you pivot and you go to Obama and Biden, you have lost the
when did
argument.
I do that? I don't do that. I don't do that.
Extra crispy. Okay, all right. So I think I've heard enough. All right, and I want to actually hear what other people might have to say about the conversation.
Yeah.
It was a great conversation, but unfortunately, the last part where you lied and said Trump is not a racist, even after he basically called black people monkeys. That's
No,
how I
he
took
did.
it.
What he called white people? See, what are you
Oh,
doing?
no. Don't you start running around and start protecting white folks right now when we're talking about you.
I'm not protecting white folks. I'm highlighting the whole video.
I didn't ask you
The
about
whole
that.
video made everybody animals, and you could have made anything of anything. That's what I'm saying. Like, you would have been saying the same thing if you would have made Obama a donkey. You'd have been like, "Oh, black, he's saying black people are stupid. You must admit that he's
and
racist."
you're right, and I'll give you that. In other words, stop making fun of black people. Yeah, I would have had a problem.
Yo,
He would have. No.
everybody gotta get these jokes, bro.
Hold on. I would have if the birther thing. Stop making fun of black people, MAGA, because no matter how you try to do it, it'll never be a funny joke to Big Zeus. You're right, Bretta. You're right. I don't think it's funny when Trump voters joke around about black people. Do you? Tell me the funniest joke a red hat MAGA demon can tell you about black people. Tell me it, and then I'll see if it's funny. You got one?
Why would I have those kind of jokes in the tub?
Just think of one. You've never, because you understand it's not that funny. It's all good when it ain't you, but if it would have been you, you would have had a problem. And I know y'all a bunch of liars, because if you would have been working at a job and your supervisor or the CEO did that to you, you would definitely say, "Oh, I got a bag on me. I'm about to file this lawsuit. I got proof." You would do it. If you knew you could get a bag, if you could get a bag, you would do it, correct?
We're in America.
Okay, thank you.
100%.
Thank you. So that's why I say when you lie, you fry, brother. I appreciate you. Nice try, but you didn't make it. Ladies and gentlemen, Bretta did an outstanding job dancing. He did. But unfortunately, bro, I got to move it on. But you crossed the bridge that's just way too far. And I wouldn't be Big Zeus if I allowed you to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending Bretta, who tried. He lied and he fried where he belonged, to hell. Can't have that. Can't have that.
Silence, you MAGA demon. Fuck him. Like I said, that's the worst fucking president I ever known in my life.
Who?
Donald Trump.
W. Zeus.
Well, what about Bush?
Bush was nothing like him.
Yeah, W. Zeus. W. Lady Boss. Thank you, everyone. Sorry to put you all through that, but he's brave. As long as they're up here and they're being decent people, and I don't mind us having a conversation. But and as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I just can't believe they say things like that. I just can't believe they say things like that. All right, moving it along. Good morning, Kabira. How you doing, sis? Welcome. Do I see you now, Q Dog? Let me see. Hey, Kabira, are you there? Kabira, are you there? I can't hear you. I don't see you, Q Dog. Does anyone mods? Do you see Q Dog? I can't see. All right, Kabira, I'm gonna drop. Let's see. Who do we have next? Alrighty then. Who we got? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's
How are
everybody?
you? I'm going to try to get as many of you up here yet, but please welcome.
Hey, so why do we continue justifying abhorrent behavior?
I don't.
Can you answer that simple question?
I can't, Nutty. You know I don't justify abhorrent
So
behavior, but that's a question for Blagga in particular. I mean,
so Zeus, I'm gonna shock the kingdom today.
oh,
I'm gonna shock the kingdom today. This is gonna be my tone throughout me being on the channel.
Okay.
This is gonna be my tone
Thank
right
you.
here.
Thank you.
But Trump is not a racist. I agree. But he was only sued by the DA.
No. Yeah, and
I mean, hold on.
Nutty.
No, hold on. Hold on, Zeus.
You can get in trouble too.
No, hold on. But see, this is the things that happens to people who aren't racist, getting sued by the Department of Justice for housing discrimination.
Oh.
Mind you, this was the Nixon DOJ. Folks, let that sink into your brain. This was the Nixon DOJ that sued Donald Trump. And we do know how racist Richard Nixon was. The same DOJ, the Attorney General, that actually ended up going to prison, sued Donald Trump for his racist behavior for housing discrimination. So that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, who started the birther movement?
Well,
but he's not racist. Who depicted the Obamas as gorillas and apes? Who said of Kamala Harris and Justice Brown Jackson and the next senator from Texas, Jasmine Crockett, that they are low IQ? Who said that? Who said
number 47
Ilhan Omar, the wonderful representative from Minnesota, that she's married to her brother? Who said of her same community or another community that they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats and the dogs? Who said the shithole countries when referring to African countries and Caribbean countries? Who said these things?
Yeah.
See, here's the thing, Zeus. A non-racist wouldn't say those things.
Right.
Who said, can we get them from countries like Norway, Sweden? And what do those countries have in common? They're like 95% alabaster, envelopian. But no, Zeus.
Talk to him.
The honorable racist in chief Donald Trump is not racist at all. Not racist at all. And Bretta, Dame, you all should be ashamed of yourself.
Thank you.
You all should be ashamed. You are a disgrace to the whole diaspora of black folks. Notice I didn't just say African Americans. I said black folks in general.
Dang.
Across the world.
So you're saying they let
you
down
are
everybody.
A disgrace.
Wow.
They're letting down everybody because you are so balls deep into Donald Trump's butt that you cannot say, you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong about this person who is absolutely a disgusting, vile piece of crap.
That's all that he did.
MAGA, great job. You got everyone else saying, we wish we had George W. Bush back in the White House. Congratulations.
Congratulations, MAGA. Wow.
Congratulations.
Dang, Nutty. That's crazy for you to say. That's probably the most craziest thing I've heard you say today, because, wow, I despised George W. Bush Jr. I really did, but
do you not wish he was sitting in the White House right now?
No comment. But you're right. Wow.
Because the one thing that we can say about W, as much as we talked about him, as much as we trolled him, talking about how stupid he was, the one thing he did not do, he did not try to get rid of our democracy. Period.
Facts.
We can fight about his policies all day long. And that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair fight.
Fair enough, yeah.
But we have to tell the truth and what?
Shame
the devil.
The devil. Facts, no lies today.
When it came to George W., I absolutely wholeheartedly believed that he loved this country. He just had a different path that we had to where he wanted this country to go.
Correct.
He just had a different path.
Yeah.
So we can argue that point.
Facts.
I'm done, Zeus.
All right.
But before I get out of here, I want to give you your Black History moment.
Go ahead.
The 1964 and the 1965, both the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed July 2nd, 1964, with the voting rights being passed August 6, 1965. Why am I bringing this up for Black history as a Black history moment? Because it was transformative. Those two things were transformative. It was legislation that outlawed discrimination and sought to dismantle systemic barriers to the ballot box, y'all. And what are we seeing today? What are we seeing in our nation today with the latest SAVE Act?
Yeah.
That has come out? It is everything that the Voting Rights Act stands against. We didn't want any more barriers. We did not want any more poll taxes. The SAVE Act is nothing more than a poll tax, which is outlawed, and it is upheld by the United States Supreme Court. So please do your research.
Amen.
Please do your research. Please register to vote if you're not registered. And more importantly, get out to vote.
All
Zeus, have a grand day, my brother.
All right, you too. And thank you as always, ladies and gentlemen. That's enough. See, that was a tamed Nutty. And again, that's what we're good at doing. We're good at being, in a way, role models for some of these lost brothers and sisters out here. And they know who they are, the ones that think because they wear a red hat that somehow Donald Trump is going to visit them. Moving it along, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring up my good friend, RC Dubs.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing? Caught you in the morning, huh?
All right, man.
All right.
Yeah, my wife's got a new schedule this week, so I'm kind of getting up earlier than usual. And
all right.
So it gives me a chance to catch the kingdom.
Thank you. Well, you always bring knowledge and expertise and truth to the kingdom, so it's an honor to have you here. But what do you got for us, if you don't mind?
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be with you.
Yeah.
I was actually I was gonna ask Breda if he was still in here listening, if I'd had a chance to ask him directly. Because something that I came across recently was a lot of people seem to forget about the June 2020 retweet of Trump screaming, a supporter of his screaming white tea power. I would say that's pretty racist. I would say any politician that retweets a supporter of theirs screaming white tea power is racist.
I agree.
And for some reason, a lot of people forgot that happened. And somebody that we both know was kind of resistant to hearing that fact and didn't want to know about it, didn't want to look it up, wanted me to show them the evidence. And when I finally showed them the evidence that they resisted, they finally admitted, yeah, you know what? Trump is racist. Now, to me, that takes more strength to admit you were wrong in supporting somebody that you finally acknowledge is racist than to go on supporting the racist. It takes no strength to continue kissing a racist butt.
Thank you.
It takes more strength to realize you were wrong and abandon the racist. Just say, look, I was wrong. I didn't know these things. The person I showed it to didn't know it happened.
Yeah.
That's fine. But that's the thing. They've compartmentalized and ignored so many things, rationalized away so many irrational things, made excuses for so many inexcusable things that it's almost a habit. Like, I don't think MAGA knows how to stop making excuses for him.
Wow.
You know, the birther thing. Do you think Trump would have asked a white candidate for their birth certificate?
No.
I don't think so.
No, he would have never made that an issue.
Because Ted Cruz wasn't born in the United States. He was born in Canada, and somehow they didn't care when he ran for president. Nobody asked him about it. I mean, it was kind of one of those things, again, you're just trying to suppress the vote. You're just trying to divide this country. You're trying to go basically back to where white men who have owned land were the only ones to vote.
Wow.
The SAVE Act, you're going to sit there and tell me that it's about voter ID and making sure that it's all safe. There's no voter fraud. So you're creating some solution for a problem that didn't exist.
Bingo.
Oh, by the way, you're saying that people need to get a passport, which, like Nutty said, that's a poll tax. So that's already illegal. But if you're going to make people get passports, why would you fire 1,500 people who make them?
Oh. So you think he's actually making it more difficult again for his own base to go and vote? That's crazy.
Absolutely. They're trying to make it difficult for women. I mean, supposedly conservative men are always happy to have their wives take their last name. But now, because it won't match their birth certificate, you're not going to let your wife vote?
Oh, it's a backdoor way to make your wife powerless in the household. Wow.
And, but now you need a passport, but guess what? It's going to be harder to get one because I fired all the people that make them.
Wow.
So you can't tell me it's not intentional. This is all Project 2025. These people were devious and they planned this.
Well, let me say this because I know we're on a time crunch, but my last question is, there's people in the audience right now, Dubs, and they're saying you're fear mongering. What do you say?
Oh, am I?
Because they think it's called Save America, right? So it's saving America, and you don't sound like you're saving America. So what do you say to the people who are accusing you of fear mongering?
I would say define what saving America means, because Trump said it to a mob. He said, you have to save the country because Biden had won an election. I'm sorry. Did the country go downhill just because somebody won an election?
No.
I mean, because one person you didn't want to win won an election, all of a sudden I'm going to incite a mob of violence so I can stay in power because you got to save the country. So people that tell me that they're saving America, to me, they're trying to actually save the patriarchy. They're trying to save their white privilege. They're trying to save, they're in their fragility. They don't want to admit that this country is not living up to its promise.
Wow.
So the only way we can save America is to stop enabling these whitey nationalists and these supremacists and these fake Christians who pretend that they actually know or have any kind of moral standing. You are not going to tell me after supporting a criminal that you care about the rule of law.
You don't. Thank you.
So yeah, they're not saving anything. They're just trying to save their own behinds.
Thank you. RC Dubs in the chat. Look at you, got all these people here saying thank you. Well, listen, brother, we're gonna move it along. But as always, you cooked and booked, ladies and gentlemen. Follow RC Dubs. He does a great job cooking these MAGA demons. He does a better job than I do. All right, seriously. But yes, have a great rest of your morning, bro. Thank you. Wow.
You too, sir.
All right. Wow. Oh, wow, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Look at that. W's in. All righty then, let's move it along. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. I think I can see you now. Hold on. Q Dog, I think I can see you. Welcome.
Finally, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? It's taking forever and a day to get you up here. Oh my God. But yes, glad that I have you now.
Definitely. Wanted to address a few things. What you had played earlier from old footage in reference to what Trump was involved in.
Yeah.
DJ, you real quiet. Tiny Tank Top Tim, Snuggles, all y'all were real quiet. Why don't y'all come up here and address that matter? Silent as a mouse, know what
a church
on
mouse. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey,
does anybody know who Brashad Johnson is?
I don't know who that is.
Does anybody know who that name is? I'll tell you who it is. He was a ICE agent that did background checks for incoming ICE agents.
Oh, I heard about him. Oh, yeah.
He was arrested for prostitution sting in an prostitution sting, along with 29 more people. And all of them are getting charged for gross, you know what it is.
Yes, keep going. I'll be right back.
So I'm just curious, when you see stuff like that, and we talk about the young lady that did a what's the word I can use, an example on how ICE agents are being brought into the fold, and she didn't do any type of background check. She didn't do any type of application. But after she spoke to the people who were supposed to be hiring for ICE agents, she got the offer in 3 days. So I'm just curious, where's your outrage when you having these people? Because we know what's coming in. You want to say that all these ICE agents, they're being put into the position and they're being in training and so forth. Where's the training at? Alter ego. Until you can come up on the panel, just don't say anything. Nobody's paying attention to you. Where is the outrage on that? I'm curious. DJ, where are you at?
They don't want to come forward. Because they know that the judging in this kingdom is it's at an all-time high level, to be honest. But it would be interesting though if they would at least just be honest with us. Just be honest with us.
Yeah, I did summons you, Tiny Take Top Tim, because you constantly in the chat every day, all day. You claim you don't like Zeus, you claim you don't like me, you claim you don't like Shay, you claim you don't like Nutty and so forth, but you in here every day.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna leave these demons to themselves. They know.
It's just amazing that y'all don't want to come up here and put forth any type of energy towards the negativity that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis in these streets. Day-to-day basis.
Yeah,
they done kicked them out of Minnesota. They supposedly in here in Atlanta. The YNs already told ICE what's about to happen if you come here with that type of energy.
Yeah.
Be careful on who you grab.
Thank you.
Because these little YNs don't care, especially here in Atlanta. They do not care. Red, blue, right, wrong, they don't care. You grab them, you're going to find out. You're going to F around and find out.
Yeah, and see, this is why it's important that we have morning shows like this, because you know what they're finding out is they're finding out that a majority of the country, they're rejecting the MAGA ideology. They don't like ICE terrorizing American people, right?
And let's not add to the fuel to the fire on how my sorrow just roasted. When I tell you roasted Bondi. All the people that she had all this back mouth talk to on why she was up there the entire time. How many hours she was on that panel, Zeus? About 3-4 hours?
Yeah, 5 hours.
She had back talk to everybody except for my sorrow. Because she wasn't going to put forth the effort to even ask any questions, because she was going to evade every last question just like she did the entire time she was up there. And then you got the behind kissers that are wanting to apologize for her having to go through this.
Disgusting.
No, she put herself through this.
Yeah.
She put herself through this by not doing her job, by rather being a faithful follower than a fearless leader of the DOJ.
Yeah. That part.
She's supposed to lead the DOJ, but she's following around Trump and all his little minions just to keep them happy so she can keep a job. But guess what? When them indictments come down, they coming.
Yeah, they're coming.
We just putting the pennies in the jar.
Yeah.
One day at a time. And when it fills up, and when it's time for them indictments to come down, guess what? Now they're gonna be like, I was just doing my job. No.
We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that.
We ain't trying. We're not even trying to hear that.
Thank you. Well, listen, brother, we're going to move it on. All right. I got to try to get a
Salute
few
to
more
you,
of our
brother.
friends in here. But thank you. And I'm glad we figured it out how to get you up here. Ladies and gentlemen, W's in the chat for Q-Dog. No lies dejected. There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. My, oh my. There you go. Do we have anybody else out there? They say I need to bring up MAGA. I don't see any MAGA out there. Any Trump voters out there, identify yourselves in the comment section. If you're a Trump voter, please, we don't got much time. Put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump voter. Otherwise, we will continue to rock and roll. Oh, my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Good morning, Missy. How are you? I see you, Doc.
Well, I'm all right after visiting Dame's trailer park last night. I've never been there.
Well, you just can't let these demons get to you. But I saw you in there. You put up a good fight. They tried to make it seem like you're the liar. Isn't that strange? Yeah. MAGA always tries to act like they have a problem with people on the left when they lie. But isn't Donald Trump the biggest liar in the United States right now?
It's selective. They choose selective liars, basically. So they don't see his lying, but they see everybody else lying.
Yeah.
It was an absolute mess over there. Probably a trailer park I don't ever want to visit ever again. But I wanted to touch a little bit, if it's okay with you, Zeus, more on the quote unquote Save America Act. As a married woman. And as people who are not actually reading the bill and the verbiage in the bill, which is really, really important. So first and foremost, everybody needs to understand you cannot vote without registering. And when you register, you have to show citizenship. So that's the key thing right there. So even if you go to a polling location and you don't have to show your ID, when you put it into the ballot box, it has to confirm your signature with your registration. So that's already a thing. So this whole Democrats don't want to show their IDs and they want undocumented immigrants voting. All of this is nonsense. And it's a 0.04% that is found to be non-citizens when voting is calculated. So a majority of it is because maybe there is a name entered incorrectly, the signature doesn't match all the way. Here's what this legislation does. It's going to kick potentially 21 million people out of voting. You have to physically come and show how come your birth certificate and your ID or real ID doesn't match. For married women, hello, that's a big concern. You know that most married women take the last name of their husband. This is exactly what RC was saying about voter suppression. They've been wanting the one house vote from the nuclear family. All of these things as a married woman are very concerning for me. Not only that, but you have people who can't leave their home, who can't go and show their physical documentation and things like that. So everyone should be more worried about this. I'm disappointed in the one sleazebag Dem from Texas who decided to vote in favor of this to pass it through the House. But more importantly, Zeus, I think people need to understand if Doge went in and infiltrated all our personal information, right, and has our social security numbers and all, then it's the year 2026. They already have all our information. So it would be easy to verify and find the information, why they're going back to the 1900s and you have to have your birth certificate, your passport, your this, your that. When you show up to places, I mean, it's crazy.
Wow.
It's just going to cause people to be scared to go and vote. And I hope people see past this. This is voter intimidation. That's all it is.
Thank you. Thank you for calling that out and making sure we stay on this Save America Act, which is to me, Don't Save America Act, the real America, right?
Yeah.
And highlighting once again how another thing Donald Trump is rolling out is going to actually end up harming his base, because as long as they can show a picture of a person of color or an immigrant and he says, this is why I'm doing it, they continue to fall for it. So thank you.
Absolutely.
W's in the chat for missing. No lies detected. She's not lying. Well, all right then. Well, thank you so much. And please stay out of those MAGA spaces unless you protect your mental, okay?
Sometimes I like to visit those trailer park streets, sometimes.
Yeah, but if you go, all I can say is guard this, because nothing they say is truthful. Because the big glaring, the elephant in the room with these folks on the right is, hey, you just saw it. how are you still supporting a man you know is a racist? How are you still supporting a man you know is in those Epstein files the most? How are you still doing that? And then they'll say
they have sludge for brains,
thank you,
basically.
thank you, W Missy, no lies detected. And they'll never answer that question directly. They'll never do it. They'll
No.
him and they'll ha, and we're not falling for
No.
it. All right, well, fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah, and the last thing I just want to say, Zeus, with everybody listening is please, people, please continue to talk about all the thousands and thousands of children in these detention centers. They are not getting enough coverage about how many children have been taken, how are in these detention centers. Call your representatives about the Save America Act. We, the people, hire these people. They work for us. If we don't remind them of that, then we are not doing our due diligence as Americans either. And on that, I'll be done.
All right,
Thank you,
W's in the
Zeus.
chat. W's in the chat for Missy. No lies detected. You see how easy it is to get up here and just tell the truth, gentlemen. It doesn't take long. I mean, this is what this show is all about, getting reputable, incredible, amazing individuals to get up here and just share out what they know. Speaking of amazing and incredible, good morning, Doc. How are you doing, Dr. Keisha Davis?
Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning. Happy Black History Month, because you know what?
What's that?
Y'all will find anything to talk about but talk about Black History Month. Y'all will find anything to skirt around the contributions that my ancestors made to be able for us to be on social media. Oh, to need blood products. That's right.
Wow.
All of those things. Y'all find anything but to talk about it. So I'm going to keep talking about
Well,
it.
you know, have you heard about this thing? People are donating more plasma to make money. Have you heard about this?
Well, as a person that's been the director of a plasma center, yeah, there's two ways to donate blood, everybody. You can go to the Red Cross. By the way, shout out to the Red Cross for kind of halfway acknowledging the fact that Dr. Charles Drew.
Shout out to the Red Cross then. Shout out. Yeah, wow.
I'm being facetious.
Oh, see, you.
So Dr. Charles Drew, there's two organizations that used to not allow Black people to be part of them. One of them is the American Medical Association. The other one is the Red Cross, who hired Dr. Charles Drew reluctantly as the father of blood banking, by the way. Developed the Blood Mobile, where you can donate mobily, and developed the preservation of plasma that you're talking about.
Wow.
However, they put a rule saying you cannot collect Black blood, and then you have to separate it.
Wow.
And you cannot give it to the soldiers.
Get out of
He
here.
mixed it. Yeah.
So they were segregating the Black blood. As
The Red
well.
Cross, y'all.
Wow.
The Red Cross.
When did this stop? When did they stop doing that? Do you know?
Call them out.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good question. While he was there, he actually resigned because of the law, but he collected and separated it, but he also mixed it. Yeah.
Wow.
He was,
You can never.
he was like, there's no scientific basis for this. So I'm going to give the soldiers what they need. I mean, that's crazy. You know how many lives probably were lost because of this?
I can only imagine.
Yeah,
Do you have a number? But to me, too many. How about that? Too many lives were lost.
Too many. Too many. And so you were asking about donating. You can donate by going to a Red Cross or a blood center.
Yeah.
Okay. Your blood, y'all need it.
Wow.
And the other way is a plasma center. No, a plasma center only gets plasma, meaning they take your blood out and they return the red blood cells. So therefore, you're able to donate more regularly. And they the plasma because there's proteins like someone who has hemophilia. Factor 8 and factor 9 are in the plasma, and these products are used, but it's a for-profit, if that makes sense. So plasma centers are for-profit. They're not like the Red Cross. They are sold, but they're still saving lives, and you get paid. You get a little card, a cash card, and there are people actually that go there weekly, bi-weekly, what have you.
Yeah.
And that's their lifeline, Zeus. Like
Yeah.
we've had fights happen up in there because if you get denied for any reason, they're like, you just got rid of my money source. And so someone brought out a switchblade one time on one of the packs. It's crazy up in there. But yes, you can. And I don't knock it because at the end of the day, it still is saving lives.
You see what's going on. This article came out, NBC News. It says middle-class Americans are selling their plasma to make ends meet. An estimated, people in the U.S. made an estimated $4.7 billion selling their plasma. So I was just curious. I said, well, I haven't done it yet, but it is a thing,
Oh
right?
yeah, it's a thing. I mean, people have been doing it for years, and they make a lot. I used to be, and they do it the same way. You have to have someone like me overseeing everything. They're actually very meticulous. Everything is done safely, and yes, there are mitigations. If you have high blood pressure or too low, or if you're under like 95 pounds, if you're very tiny, you can't donate.
How much do they give you when you do that, if you don't mind? I didn't look into this. How much can I get?
I forgot. I think it's like around 70 or 100 or something. I forgot. And mind you, though, people, you can do it because it's plasma. You
Yeah.
can come back.
Oh
So you
my
can
God.
get paid multiple times a month.
All right. Well, see, this is why we got to have the doctor here to break stuff down, because I saw this story and I thought about, did you hear what RFK Jr. said yesterday? Did you hear what he said about germs?
What?
Oh, you haven't?
Oh, yeah. Germs don't bother him. He to snort off of a table or toilet.
Yeah, totally. What are your thoughts about that, Doc? I didn't know how to frame that in a medical sense, but what would you say to the average person that listened to him say that? What would you say?
Oh my goodness. I hope DJ's not talking about me.
No, he's trying to distract you. Yeah, great economic
okay.
news last couple of days. Seems this. Yeah, DJ doesn't want to have that conversation. It reminds me of
He
what.
does not want to have a conversation with me. So stay away from the health and medical stuff. You don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
And keep your camera off the next time you come up. We're good. Okay, so you were asking a question about what?
I was the germs on the toilet. How do you frame that to an average person listening to RFK?
The number of germs and even STIs you can get from the toilet is beyond me.
Really?
And no disrespect, you know that he has laryngeal dysphonia. It's basically just a spasmodic condition of the larynx, which could have been from the said procedure. So when people say don't make fun of him, he induced the reason why he speaks like that.
Oh, really?
It's his actions more than likely that cause the disorder that he has.
What is the medical term for what he has again?
I think it's laryngeal.
Oh,
yeah, laryngeal dysphonia. It's
okay,
it's 3 words.
Okay,
but,
okay. I just didn't.
Yeah,
You know,
but
you're
look that
always
up.
blessing me.
Spasmodic. Spasmodic laryngeal dysphonia.
Oh,
I think
okay,
that's what it is.
okay. There you go. W Doc. All right. See how she's giving us
Would you
these
mind?
medical terms. See, I'm not a doctor. Don't call me Dr. Zeus. You can call me the Rizzler, Triple H, and all those things. But no.
But the what he is saying, you know, he doesn't believe in germs anyway.
Yeah.
So he's over our HHS. By the way, the FDA just shut down Moderna. Now this is crazy.
Yeah.
Even the panel said we're going to review the Moderna is now introducing a immunization for flu, which we need more using the same. But they saw, oh no, that's the same mRNA technology used for C19 vaccine, right?
Yeah.
So he overrided everybody and vetoed it.
Wow.
Won't even look at the application.
Wow.
I do want you guys to understand how problematic that is. We're talking about science now. We are not talking about politics, and we're talking about someone who uses a toilet for their dispensary.
Yeah.
And you guys are allowing him and his cronies
to give us
to literally block science. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, while we're dealing with one of the second most unaliving years from flu, by the way.
Flu. Yeah, flu, measles, rubella. I'm hearing everything is out there right now. C19. We're not getting any accurate medical information, and he's cutting research funding from what I've heard and seen. It's really despicable.
But you can get accurate information from us. And I have on my website, the medicalcollective.net website.
There you go.
I have 2 resources. Listen, you don't have to. You can, though. If you put a contact information, I can get your email, or you subscribe to my Substack. I do need to collect emails, but I did it simply just to give the information.
Well, you're
So
doing a
it's
good
on
job.
there.
You're doing a good job.
It's on there. It's on there.
All right.
Thank you.
Well,
it's crazy. It's crazy, Zeus.
It's
I know you
crazy,
got
but
to go.
I'm glad that you're still hanging out and getting on social media and getting the word out here. Because as a doctor, I can only imagine the difficulty it takes, to carve out time in your real world and get on here.
And let's not forget, as a Black woman doctor,
amen.
let's not forget that and quit shining away, because I will tell you, I've been disappointed this Black History Month. I don't see a lot of influencers. You guys tag me with all these non-melanated doctor influencers, and I don't see them talking about their colleagues.
Wow. That's the
Well,
stuff.
it takes uplifting each other. So
Yeah.
shout out to Jesse
All
who
right.
uplifts us.
There you go,
Thank you,
Jesse.
Jim.
Yeah. We're going to have to do a better
And
job.
of course, Jim and all
yes.
of the amazing people that support us in the medical collective. But
And
I'm going to keep
Dr.
trucking
Sharon.
on.
Yes. You and Dr.
And
Sharon.
I like the
yeah.
new setup, y'all.
You do? You
Dr.
do?
Sharon is
Yeah.
the bomb.
Thank you. You like the new setup? I appreciate it. Yeah. It's something I just found
But
and I
it's
decided to
finicky,
try
isn't
on.
it? It's finicky, isn't it?
Yeah.
The studio, sometimes buttons disappear. It's finicky.
Yeah. That's the hardest part, or lags, and then you get confused about what's going on. So, but I think I like it this way better because I get a little more control and I get to actually share out the videos and information.
Share videos, yeah.
That's the most important part. So people can stop asking me, where are you getting it from? You can go look it up yourself now. How about that? But all right, seriously, Doc, it's a pleasure to hear from you this morning. Happy Friday. It's Friday the 13th, and it was a pleasure checking in. Ladies and gentlemen, show Dr. Keisha Davis. Later. No lies detected. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, listen up. We have once again, I didn't even realize how much time had passed, ladies and gentlemen, but we have reached the part where I want to give all of you who tuned in today a huge round of applause. Even to my critics and my detractors, honestly, they hate me, but they know that if they didn't come and listen to what I've been saying, they would really be in a world of trouble. DJ, I don't buy the economic news you claim is really happening. I don't know where you're getting your numbers from. The only place that's doing well, they say, is the healthcare industry, but every other place, manufacturing in particular, is in a recession, and you know that. I mean, I thought the terrorists were supposed to bring manufacturing back. That's not what we're seeing. And you think I'm going to give you credit for bringing egg prices down? No, bring the energy prices down, bring the gas prices down, and make it real drill, baby, drill. It's not drill, baby, drill. It's lose, baby, lose. And that's exactly what's happening. And then you layer that with the Epstein files. How can you, DJ, seriously, how can you, I mean, what is the saying? How can you profit the whole world and then lose your soul in the middle of it? Like, how much money does it take to buy your silence, DJ? That's the question for every single one of you Trump voters. How much money does it take for you to see and hear about children? Dame, you too. How much money will it take for you to turn your back on the children and say, I'm okay with Jeffrey Epstein's best friend running the country because what? You got a couple of dollars in your pocket. I give you $5,000, $10,000 right now. You'll be broke tomorrow. That's not enough money. Give you $100,000, $200,000. You'll be broke the next day. What are you really getting? And you can't say it's immigration and securing the border because people are still coming in the country illegally. That's not happening. He's retreating with the ICE, so you're not even getting that. What are you getting? Besides just day in and day out bombarded with more evidence that your dear leader is the most disgusting and sick and vile person we've ever had. You know what? That's one thing in the United States, Donald Trump will go down as the most. We have honestly managed to engineer and develop an amazing product in the United States. It's the most corrupt presidency ever. You couldn't get this kind of corruption anywhere else in the world. Only here in the United States, where you have one person, Epstein, linked to so many people. And what crime hasn't Epstein committed? He's broken every single one of the commandments. And then you find out he did it with Donald Trump. But guess what, DJ? Your 401ks, right? What goes up must come down. I want to give all of you, honestly, a huge round of applause. Sorry I went off on a little bit of a rant, but it really does bother me. Stop pivoting to Joe Biden and Barack Obama. None of us care. I don't care, honestly. Thank you to subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists, honestly. Because without you, this show wouldn't be what it is. Entertaining, engaging, and very, very educational, very informative. But yeah, I got to give one last round of booze and shame. And this just goes out to all of the ones that are still in the cult. You shouldn't even be in the cult. All right? And we've given you a lot of heads up. It's time to get out, but you're still in there. You know what happens on this show? When you lie, you must fry. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them one last round of booze and shame. Got me working overtime this morning. Thank you. No, thank all of you, seriously.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
Fuck him. Like I said, that's the worst fucking president I ever known in my life. Who? Donald Trump. Well, what about Bush? Bush was nothing like him.
W Zeus. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your morning. We are out of here. We're gonna play everyone's favorite song. You guys love this song. We'll play it. Let's go. Get your blanket. I mean, not your blankets. Get your tissues out, all right? Because this is a sad song.
What about Biden? Stole the whole election night. Read the votes dead tonight. Yeah, that ain't right. What about Biden? Borders wide open, let them flood it. Millions crossing, drugs pouring. Where we begin? What about Biden? Gas prices sky, inflation.
Remember what he did?
Economy dying, can't feed your child.
Biden did all of this. Sing it. Come on, y'all. 13 soldiers gone. Joe acting blind. Sing it. This is. Come on. What about him? Remember what he did?
Yeah. What about Biden?
Now this brother gonna put his heart out right here. He put his heart into this because Biden hurt him so bad.
Up in the White House, call him Sleepy Joe, cognitive decline. Everybody knows stumbling words, just can't finish a sentence. Puppet on strings, who pulling the leverage?
Hunter's laptop.
Bullets and bills, trying to cash flow, many conceal. Family getting pain, influence pedal while we out here struggling, pockets unsettled. Weaponized OJ, FBI raids, Mar-a-Lago storm, 100 gets praised. January 6th, locking up brands, but Joe's classified docs in his garage, man. Keystone cancel, energy weak, depending on foes, gas $4 a week. Crime in the cities, soft on the streets, defund the police. Chaos for peace. The whole election.
Yeah, come on now, come on.
Read the votes there tonight.
Yeah, that ain't right. Thank you. You left those borders wide open. We got these brothers on TikTok crying. Gas prices. Remember that inflation? Can't feed your child. What about Biden? Go ahead, Bart. 13 soldiers gone. Joe acting blind. What about him? Sing it. Mask mandate, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. What about Biden? Sing it, y'all. Come on. Think of it. What about him? It's my favorite part. That's that part that gets me right there. Brother, go ahead. What about him? 13 soldiers gone, and Joe is acting blind. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday.